hands together for all the esteemed guests that we have here this evening, and I would request all of the guests to please light up the lamp and start this fantastic evening.
गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि
Thank you so very much. And as the ritual goes, I want everyone, because we are in the time where Rath Yatra is happening and tomorrow is Bahuda Yatra, so I would request everyone to take his name and start this evening. Jai Jagannath. Everyone, Jagannath ko naat atike zor se. Jai Jagannath. How wonderful. And now I would request everyone to please come up on stage, all the guests to be on the stage, and I would request Ms. Monica Nair Patnaik and of course Mr. Somaranjan Patnaik to welcome our guests through this evening and propose the bouquet to this panelist on the stage. So I would request everyone to present the bouquet to our esteemed guest of this evening. So I would request Mr. Somaranjan sir. Please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much. And on behalf of SAMBAD, I take this opportunity to thank every one of you to be here and taking some time out from your busy schedules and gracing this event with your graceful presence. Thank you so much. And now we have prepared an AV for CEO Conclave 2023. So can we have the audio visual, please?
Actually, first time ever SAMBAD has come up with this CEO conclave. Why this idea came up? What challenges we have been facing for these years? So many challenges, not only us as an industry, but the other industries. Not only us as CEOs, but even employees. We have gone through a lot. And it's not necessary that it is the end of everything. It's become so endemic that I think we'll have to live with it. But what is the next step? How we can deal with it? What is the future?
विभिन्न कारणरू ए प्रकार प्रतिकूल परिस्थिति को सामना करी सफल होती एपर्यंत मुंड टिके छिड़ा होती पुणी आउ थे पूर्वावस्था को फेरी आसवा को साहस कोड़े से आज एकाठी कर एक आलोचना कला बेले स्वाभाविक भाव में आम समस्ते उत्साहित।
Need to move out of the negative repercussions of pandemic, then all of us have to work together.
CEO conclave रो जो objective अच्छी, it is to decide and talk about what are the industry challenges and future prospects. So we will be having CEOs from all different sectors and industries who will deliberate over panel discussions.
गत वर्ष प्रथम थर पाई सबु शिल्पोद्योगी बंधु मानकर गोटे समावेश आम एकाठी होइतिलु ଅନୁଷ୍ଠାନ ମାନଙ୍କର ମୁଖ୍ୟମାନେ ସେମାନଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ ମତ ବିନିମୟ କରିଥିଲେ। ଦ୍ୱିତୀୟ ସଂସ୍କରଣ ପ୍ରଥମ ସଂସ୍କରଣ ଭଳି ସଫଳ ହେବ ଏଭଳି ଏକ କାର୍ଯ୍ୟକ୍ରମକୁ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଯେଉଁମାନେ ସହଯୋଗ ଏବଂ ପୃଷ୍ଠପୋଷକ ସାଜିଛନ୍ତି ସେମାନଙ୍କୁ ମୁଁ ବହୁତ ବହୁତ ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ ଏବଂ शुभेच्छा अभिनंदन और कृतज्ञता जनाऊँ।
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And now, on the occasion of second edition of SAMBAD CEO Conclave 2023, I request the Managing Director of SAMBAD Group, Srimati Monica Nair Patnaik, to say a few words. So please put your hands together for Monica Nair Patnaik.
Thank you, Soma. A very, very good evening to all of you. Shubh Sandhya, Namaskar. On behalf of SAMBAD Group and Mr. Soumyaranjan Patnaik, I personally welcome our distinguished guests of today's SAMBAD CEO Conclave 2023, Honorable Minister, Mr. Tushar Kanti Behera of Electronics and IT, Youth Services and Sports, our dear friends who have come from across India to be a part of this occasion, Mr. Subrakant Panda, President FICCI, Managing Director IMFA, our own person who has made it to the National President for the first time, and we are proud of him. Also, I welcome Mr. Shashi Sinha. In the advertising world, nobody can say that they don't know him, Shashi Sinha. He has come all the way from Mumbai. He's the chairman of BARC. And also, I also welcome none other than Avinash Pandey. He is the CEO of ABP Network, and besides that, he's also the president of International Advertising Association India chapter, all the way from all the people who have come here. It has been a journey for us at SAMBAD to do different events and in different occasions. SAMBAD CEO Conclave in 2002, when it was thought of, the idea was that when we can discuss and talk about with the different industries, with the different sectors, the CEOs who represent them, what would be the next best option? What would be the next challenge? What would be the next prospect? So it was the year of pandemic, about COVID-19, when we thought of this, and we had a great response. Because it was not only talking about the next bet, next level, what is going to happen, but we were also talking about how the industry is facing with a CEO being at the helm of not only with his profession, not only with his industry, not only with his company, but also with his personal self. After all, CEOs are also human beings. How is he or she tackling it? So this was a great moment. Now in 2023, when we have come to the second edition of SAMBAD CEO Conclave, there was one interesting thing which came out. This is going to not go. These situations are going to stay here. We have to deal with them. We have to deal with the successes, failures. We have to go ahead and talk about what the organizations are going to do, how and what employees are going to take forward. So all these factors when it came out, so we chose the topic today, industry challenges and future prospects. And we are glad we did that. You will know, and as you are aware, that out of 36 Indian origin CEOs are leading the top companies worth $1 trillion. So we showed proud that India has made a map in the CEO sector all over the world. It is not far away when Orissa will also be a part of it, and we have all the wonderful and dynamic CEOs and young leaders who have come up and lead the organizations here to be also on the India map as well as in the global map. It is for that reason today we also have a special session with the startups, because all these emerging industries and young enterprising entrepreneurs are going to make this, Odisha a better and an exciting name to reckon with. I thank all of you for being a part of it, and I also thank from the bottom of my heart that SAMBAD CEO Conclave, it is one first ever of its kind in Odisha where SAMBAD has been able to come up with this conclave and nobody else. Lastly, I would also mention here, taking this opportunity of SAMBAD CEO Conclave, we, in association with International Advertising Association, launched a creative campaign contest amongst all advertising agencies having offices in Odisha. And the jury, the independent, eminent jury, selected few of them as the winners, but they said that it was a tough task and it was a challenge looking at the creatives, which were very done beautifully, both in Odia as well as in English, about how the new Odisha would look. So the topic was the new Odisha, and they have come up with a great way of presenting creatives. And I'll take this opportunity to thank Mr. Ramesh Narayan, who has also come all the way from Mumbai, and he's an advertising legend, a part of the associations, who will grace the occasion at the IAA Creative Contest. Along with him, we have I. Venkat, Director Inadu, a part of the IAA, to be here, and I thank both of them. Lastly, I would like to thank all our partners, associates, and all my SAMBAD team, our SAMBAD group team, to be here to make this event very successful. We have a session where Mr. Manoj Mishra, Dr. Omkar Rai, and Mrs. Usha Pari are going to be discussing about the leadership issues and how the CEO, next level CEOs can take it forward. I will not leave this podium until I mention that I need to thank all of you for making SAMBAD Group the #1 media house of the state and a name to reckon with in the media entertainment industry in the nation, with SAMBAD, the #1 Odia Daily, Radio Chocolate 104 FM as the #1 radio station, Kanak News, Jatras, and we have our institutions, and we also have our Amo Odisha, which is doing excellent work in blood donations and literature. Besides, we are also on the fingertips with a digital front. It's called SAMBAD Digital. And thank you all for being our ardent listeners, viewers, and readers. I once again welcome you all and have a good evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, ma'am. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would request Mr. Avinash Pandey, the CEO, ABP Network, President News Broadcasters and Digital Association, President International Advertising Association, India Chapter. He is also at the forefront in promoting Indian regional languages, especially on digital mediums. A true industry specialist, he is a core member of Digital News Publishers Association and a former director of the Indian Broadcasting Foundation to deliver his speech. So ladies and gentlemen, please join your hands for Mr. Avinash Pandey. So.
Am I audible? Yeah. Thank you. Honorable Minister, Monica, because of her, my colleague at IAA Managing Committee, because of her I am here today. So thank you for calling me up, distinguished guest on the dais. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been given 8 to 10 minutes to speak, and my topic is the challenges and the way forward for the media industry. It could not have come at a better time when I am sharing the dais with one of the biggest stalwart of the media, Mr. Sashi Shinaji. In the second decade of the 21st century, we stand at the cusp of the upheaval, but also of the great upsurge of potential crisis, but also of potential opportunities, of immense adversity, but also never to be seen before advantages. Every parameter, every goalpost of content, from creation to delivery, has undergone a massive change in the very short span of time. There are around 197 million TV homes today in India. Many of them are connected with satellite or cable. In fact, most of them. Nearly 900 private satellite TV stations are on air today. Over 300 of them are television news coverage. There are over 17,000 newspaper titles reaching to about 400 million audience. This evolution is something I personally experienced in my career journey of 28 years. Started my career with Indian Express, where I saw the first how local print editions started coming and a spread of the newsprint across India in different languages, to launch of Aaj Tak, the first 24/7 news channel, and then now with our current network, AVP network, where we are using artificial intelligence to everything to stream content to you. I have seen a lot of such progress, but I have seen serious problems. Let's take problem of the broadcast industry first. The fundamental problem of our business is the structure of this business. In the news business, you are only allowed 26% foreign investments, so obviously it leaves very little capital for us to infuse into the business. The broadcast ownership is fragmented, while on the distribution side, it is consolidated. And because of this unequal partnership, largely the broadcast business is dependent on advertising revenue, which creates a problem, because you are largely not making the content for the audience, but to serve advertising. On top of that, mushrooming news websites and social media platforms have made the competition more intense and increased pressure to produce more stories. But there is no doubt in this that it has also resulted in what I call the democratization of the information, but also at the same time, the spread of the fake news. There is a tearing hurry everywhere that we see to tell a story. And in the name of balance, people leave what are the factually correct things. Some measures, like the ABP network, we have done with a tie-up with IIM Indore, where we did a study on how to stop fake news. The paper has just got published. It would be part of one of the teaching case study in IIM Indore. The second challenge that I see today is the measurement science. Sachiji is here. He knows better than most of us that in this age of algorithm, which is going to decide what study, what subject you are going to pick, what job that you are applying for, and whom you are likely to fall in love for. In this age, you get the data which is almost 10 days old and also bundled up with a lot of averages. It also leads to large scale of manipulation, which as an industry leader, all of us are grappling with. So how do you make content for an audience whom you really do not know? What's worse is that it has damaged the broadcast industry in the eyes of advertisers, given that it is an advertising-driven business model. It's fashionable to say that people are no longer watching news television. That's not true. Like most of you, I travel all over India and I ask them what they saw yesterday, which anchor that they admire in different languages, in different regions. Associated with this is the problem that afflicted Bollywood as well. If you look at it, when one kind of film succeeds, the entire Bollywood starts making the similar copycat of 5 or 6 movies comes out in the immediate year, which actually, what is happening to the Bollywood, we all know. Similarly, in the news business, once the rating is given to a program, we have Justice Sikri, who presides over a committee where people complain. And once I met Mr. Ajit Pai, who is the FCC chairman, he came to India and I asked him that, we have a lot of time involved in solving the problem that people cite in the content. And he asked a question. He said, why the people complain? If you don't like something, don't watch it. Nobody's forcing you. But in India, we have heavily invested into solving these complaints as if it's your right to have fertilizer subsidy. These are the problems, but I'm also, like some of my colleagues say, I'm eternally optimistic. I would like to see the possibilities which are inherent in these challenges. The industry is expected to grow faster than the global average rate, our media and entertainment sector. This can be credited in rising incomes, increased internet penetration, and growing push towards the digital adoption. sale of a smart TV, which is the best thing that happened in last 1.5 year. Platform offerings multiple services and more players in the bandwidth market, leading to immense growth in content consumption. I believe this rise of the connected television has democratized the reach of the content. Legacy players like us are constrained by the cable regulation, can now reach their audience through different platforms. Government needs to lower the cost of the distribution of the content so that the legacy media can be reached with a targeted audience. The second great thing that is happening is the science of measurement science, which I recommend that we, industry body should adopt. India is an IT hub, and we can surely partner with a big IT company to produce the data immediately and not after 10 days. This will also improve not only the efficiency, but you know, a lot of manipulations will go away. The third fills me with all sorts of hope. India is home to 22 scheduled languages according to the constitution, apart from English and Hindi. Each language had its own rich culture and heritage. Take Odisha, for example. One of the country's greatest writer, and Odisha's very own Fakir Mohan Senapati, predicted in a way COVID-19 when he wrote his novel Rebati in 1898. In that, the cholera epidemic is seen by the superstitious as a curse from the goddess of the little girl's temerity, to want to be educated, to want to dream, to want to grow. Our history teaches us so much about the future. Indian literature is richer of it, and so is Indian entertainment and news. This pride in our own language and our own diversities while adhering to the ideas of India is one of the greatest gifts of the 21st century. The first sign of the regional domination dictating growth is evident in the popularity of the language TV and language newspapers in India. Digital direct-to-consumer business, which is D2C, and interactive content, we are seeing a tremendous growth in the VOD across different channels. ABP Network, we have just ventured into Tamil and Telugu. Nobody thought a company based in Calcutta will be delivering content in these two languages. The need of the time is in developing unique consumer experience for all the regions that a platform operates in, striking the right balance for the broadcasters, brands, and consumers. Only when the audience becomes a community invested, emotionally intellectual in the content of a broadcaster can be declared to be a success. Why do we, even 30 years on, remember Doordarshan newsreaders or Ramanand Sagar's Ramayana? Because there was only one thing: sheer experience of emotions. The intimacy and immediacy of the broadcaster was unparalleled. Of course, it was a monopoly then, but it is that sentiment that we must need to recapture. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you so very much, sir. In order to address the gathering here, now I request Mr. Sashi Sinha, the CEO, IPG Media Brands India. He was the one to set up Lodestar, India's first specialized media planning and buying outfit, and also India's first media research and tools development cell. He is the winner of Media News for You Game Changers 2022 Lifetime Achievement Award for his continuing industry contribution and leadership. He is also the chairman, Broadcast Audience Research Council India. Now I request him to deliver his speech. Sir.
Hello, good evening everyone. Honorable Minister, Mr. Patnaik, Mr. Panda, my friend Avinash and Monica. Monica, thank you for having me here. It's always a pleasure to come to Bhubaneswar, such a wonderful city. The state is so good. So, you know, like Avinash and me, very good friends. So I don't know, from Avinash's speech you could make out the case of glass being half full or half empty. He started off by saying it's half empty, then he closed by saying half full. I am a born optimist, so I come from a different perspective, especially when you come to this state. I'll tell you why. So as you know, IMF keeps talking about that India is going to be the fastest growing economy for the next so many years. 6 to 7% is what the expectation is. Our Prime Minister talks about large numbers, $1 trillion economy. But having said that, one question which is always asked all over is, does media content drive economy, or it's vice versa? Because the economy grows, then media and content, media entertainment grows along with that. The global norm is, if the economy grows by X, the media content business goes by double. That's the global norm. That's what has happened in US, that's what has happened in China. And I personally feel it is the story of media content, media entertainment content driving the economy. It's a strong statement to make, and I will make the statement for a variety of reasons. Because media is not only entertainment, media is also education, knowledge, learning, and a lot more, whichever the format, whether it's print, TV, radio, or digital, or whatever it is. So I genuinely believe that the growth of media, content, entertainment will drive the economy. I also believe, which is obvious to all of you, that the growth is not going to come from the top 500 companies. If India has to grow, it will come from the small scale sector, the MSMEs, that's where the growth will come from. And everyone, I think there is a session today after this where they're talking about MSMEs, so that's the great thing. And I think media and papers like, or the media group like SAMBAD can play a critical role in ensuring and helping the growth of MSMEs and small scale businesses. Because these are people who not only need, they need the vehicle to advertise, they also need guidance on how to sell their products, how to grow their business. So having said that, before I come to the larger point, there's one interesting comment I want to make. I'm sure all of you are familiar, it's a very obvious thing to say India is a young country and India will remain young for quite some time. But I think some of you may not know this, some of you may not know this, that India is young in parts. India is not young across the board. It's peculiar, So Maharashtra, where I reside, or Gujarat, or Tamil Nadu are not young any longer. I don't know how many of you empathize with this. The young in this country start in the Indo-Gangetic plain, starting all the way from Uttar Pradesh, ending in the Bay of Bengal and Orissa included. So this is the future. The future, when you say young, this is the part of the country which is young, which the growth will happen, with empowerment will happen. And there can't be a better time than to be in this state for this reason, And another fact which I'm sure, sir, most of you will know here on the dais, but someone said this to me 3 months back and I was stunned. I was told that the GST collection from the state is more than the GST collection of West Bengal. I don't know how many of you knew that. It came as a surprise to me. So all this put together, if you see, I think the future is going to be this part of the world. Like I said, starting from Uttar Pradesh to here, these are the kids who want to be empowered. A lot of them coming out of colleges are no longer interested in getting into jobs. They're interested in getting into starting their own. Fear of failure is no longer a big thing. They want to come into, start early, fail, doesn't matter. We'll pick up and go again. So I think if you look at this country from that point of view, my appeal to people like Monica and Mr. Patnaik would be, what can groups like SAMBAD do to enable this? I think there's a great opportunity they can do. I think the first thing is groups like these are integrated in their approach. So whether it's TV news, or whether it's newspapers, whether it's digital, there's a holistic perspective. It's not only about news, it's also about education, it's about upbringing, it's about a lot of things. Our youngsters today are hungry. They want to know what's happening. They want to compete with the best in the world. They're no longer competing with what's happening in Bombay and Delhi. They want to compete with what happens elsewhere. So there's a great opportunity in that itself, The second thing which is very obvious is that there is a fair degree, or should I say fair, there's a very high degree of, truthfulness, credibility with groups such as this. Because today all of you know that what happens on social media, particularly WhatsApp, a lot of it is not believable and people are losing faith in that. So, when I want to learn something, when I want to start some business, I want some data points, I want to know more about it, I would definitely look at, something which someone is more credible. So I know a lot of people say digital is killing us, digital is overtaking, we should forget it. My appeal to Mr. Patnaik and Monica would be, do not lose faith in the power of the print medium. It's a very powerful medium. They talk about, whenever I go, people talk less about my company. They talk more about the work I do for the TV rating body, because that's a controversial role. I'm always in the news for the wrong reasons, as Avinash called out. But I also do a work which most people don't know. I also run the research body for print, what is called the MRUC, and I'm the chairman of that. And I'm passionate about measurement in this country, and I believe in the power of print. So I believe genuinely that, print, and because the group is complete, but print will be the mainstay, will be the bedrock. Because, while youngsters may not read the print in the print form, they will pick it up in different forms, be it digital, be it whatever form, be it the news form. But the fact is that there is a certain ethos, there is a certain credibility which comes with this. That will never go away. That aggregators, without naming them, the big aggregators on platforms will never be able to distill that news. The editorial capability which you guys have spread out all over the state or elsewhere can never be replicated. And that has to be leveraged. That has to be leveraged in empowering those youth, with the state government's help. I'm sure they will do a lot because they want to empower the youth. They're all into, be it looking at IT infrastructure. And today, my company runs a back office. We have a small company compared to the infrastructure of the world, but we were doing analytics and we were running in Bombay, and I said, why should it be Bombay? Why can't we take it out? So the global guys turned around and said, we come in flying to Bombay. I said, it's not about you, it's about these kids. So whether you go to Indore or you come to Bhubaneswar or wherever you want to go, that's the future. The future is not going to be a Pune or a Bangalore or a Hyderabad. They're not a youth there. There are people from here who are going there. So why, instead of you going there, come here? They're the best high quality education institutions here. So this is the future. You have to build it that way. You have to come from a mindset that this will happen. Mark my word, this will happen. So I will not say more, but I will respond to Avinash. He made a few comments on measurement that I can't let it pass. But before that, I think there's a great opportunity, and I genuinely believe that media, entertainment, content, entertainment is a very loose word, will drive growth of economy, So it will, and we should be proud. I'm a very proud person being in this industry. I say, listen, this is the business which will drive it. There are a lot of advertising agencies here, I'm told, and it's your job, because your clients, the clients which are there, small scale clients, entrepreneurs, they are the ones who are the futures of tomorrow. They're not, I was attending, I enjoyed this. I was attending one such meeting in Tamil Nadu, and the big advertisers, people who have grown small roots, have started suddenly becoming big. That's the future. The future is not with the top 500 companies of this country. They are there. They will remain. We work with some very large clients, but the future is not there. The future, these guys who are there, the future, the youth of your state, the future, the youth of UP, Bihar, Bengal, and Orissa. That's where the future is. And whatever aid has to be given to them, I'm sure the local governments, whoever takes the lead, whichever government takes the lead, will always gain in the long run. So with that, I want to sign off. Avinash, I will respond to your thing privately. I will not talk about it, but thank you for raising it. Thank you very much once again for inviting me. It's always an honor and a pleasure to be here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so very much, sir, for your wonderful words. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I request Mr. Shubhrakant Panda, a business leader having thorough understanding of nuances of government policies and their implications at the ground level. He is the Managing Director of Indian Metal and Ferro Alloys Limited, and also Odisha's first person to become the President of Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry. Please join your hands, sir.
Shri Tushar Kanti Behra, Honorable Minister, Shri Somi Ranjan Patnaik, Mr. Sashi Sinha, Avinash Pandey, Monica, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a pleasure for me to be here today, and at the outset I'd like to thank Monica and Soumya Babu for extending this invitation to me. I want to start out today by first talking about where India stands today. We are the world's most populous nation now officially. What is more important is a young population with more than 65%, with about 65% being less than 30 years of age. And about 3 decades to go before there is a tipping point between the working age population and the non-working age population. And that's important because the rest of the world is aging. And this indeed presents a huge opportunity for India amongst other things. We are the fastest growing large economy, the 5th largest currently and likely to be the 3rd largest by the end of the decade. A fiscally responsible economy, in the sense that even with a record outlay of rupees 10 lakh crores on infrastructure in the current budget, Nevertheless, the fiscal deficit is on a glide path which is towards reduction, and that has helped in controlling inflation in India, which in any case is more imported than not. But certainly we have done far better at controlling inflation than many of the advanced economies which really threw money at COVID without necessarily much to gain in return. There is, of course, a tremendous opportunity arising out of geopolitics, or China +1 as it is called. And this is a strategy which has been further bolstered by measures taken both at the central as well as state governments all around the country to improve ease of doing business. Schemes like the PLI, the production-linked incentive schemes, which are for specific sectors to create manufacturing champions with global scale. And as you know, we ended FY23, 2022-23, with the highest ever exports of about $750 billion. And there is a very ambitious target of $2 trillion, $1 trillion from services and $1 trillion from manufacturing or from goods by 2030. You're seeing digital innovation on a scale which is not seen anywhere else in the world. The most famous example being, of course, online payments, or UPI, where online payments in India are higher than, I'm not sure how many of you know this, but online payments in India are higher than the US, European Union and China combined. In fact, we are about 50% higher than all three. So it is truly a revolution on a fabulous scale. And of course, you have a startup ecosystem throughout the country with what was earlier just the Bangalore, Karnataka belt. Now startups are the talk of every state. Everyone wants to prioritize that. So you have a very supportive ecosystem which has led to more than 100 unicorns, or companies with a $1 billion valuation. So all of the above has led to India's stature rising globally. So it is not just the G20 presidency which is currently ongoing, but we are part of many important fora around the groupings around the world, such as the Quad, which is with the US, Australia, etc. You have the IPEF, the Indo-Pacific Economic Forum. You have the I2U2, which is India, Israel, US, and UAE. So all these groupings, you're seeing that India is increasingly being sought after to be a part of these groupings. The world is looking to engage with us, given our large unified domestic market. So FTAs, we have signed 2 FTAs, and there are many, many more being discussed on the anvil, whether it's UK, whether it's European Union, Canada, etc. And these are, of course, important even from Indian companies or the investors that we are looking to attract, because anybody setting up base in India is not just looking at the large unified domestic market, but also having access to market economies which are consuming economies in the West. And nowadays FTAs also include technology transfer. They ease the movement of people. So our professionals who are services industry is such a strong sector of the economy. So easy movement of people is relevant. But if I were to speak from a business chamber perspective and speaking and representing Indian businesses, today we are confident, capable, and competitive, and really looking to engage with the world. So if I were to, in fact, paraphrase India's permanent representative to the World Trade Organization, whom I met recently in WTO, the real operating line here is that India now engages much more confidently in various multilateral fora simply because of the economic clout that we carry and are expected to carry. But what are the things to watch out for? As Monica mentioned at the beginning, and as all of you know, it's not just opportunities, there are challenges. With every opportunity comes challenges, and vice versa, of course. I think one important challenge for us is urbanization. As you may know that agriculture accounts for about 17 to 18% of GDP, but about 45% of employment. That is simply not tenable. So you will have people moving to tier 2, tier 3, tier 2 cities. So urbanization is a big challenge. Equally, I think management of mega cities, the next tier of cities, etc. And we do see around the country some challenges emanating in this area, but development so as to provide employment opportunities, and of course those who want to go on to becoming entrepreneurs will do so, but to provide employment opportunities and really take advantage of our demographic dividend, because if you are not able to keep up with the pace, then the demographic dividend can well become a demographic curse, which is what we have to avoid, and which is what I think everybody is working to manage. Secondly, of course, when we talk about India's potential, especially when it comes to manufacturing, and again, manufacturing too accounts for about 17 to 18%, and that needs to substantially go up to 25, perhaps even 30% in order to absorb people into the workforce. So integrating into global value chains is an important factor to keep in mind, and that means higher standards of quality, higher standards of efficiency, ensuring that there are norms that are accepted worldwide are applicable here too, whether it, on a variety of issues. And finally, I think we have to manage the energy transition well, especially I believe when it comes to hand-holding SMEs, because the larger companies either know what they're doing or have access to resources to figure out what needs to be done. It's the SMEs, and I do agree that when we talk about growth in India, the large companies are there, they will be there, they will continue to grow, but like with any other country in the world, the SMEs are the one who provide the bulk of employment, and therefore it is very important for us to help them manage the energy transition process well. Equally, I think decarbonization is something that we need to look, manage carefully, I should say rather. And India must and is pushing back against protectionist measures like CBAM. I'm not sure how many of you have heard that, but the European Union has something called the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, which is nothing but a penalty on developing economies, which because that money which is collected on supposedly countries with high carbon emissions is going to go towards the European Union budget. So they are really just looking at raising money instead of financing the transition of developing economies. They're really looking at penalizing them and funding their own green transition. So while moving ahead with things like green hydrogen, etc., these are some of the challenges that we need to prepare for. But specifically, what do CEOs need to do? I believe we are living in an era of tremendous opportunity, and therefore I think it calls for taking calculated risks to take, to really get to the next level. I think playing it safe at this point in time means that you lose out on a lot of opportunities, but it's never about gambling. So it's about calculated risks, judging the risk and reward, and ensuring that we are able to capitalize on the opportunities, the tremendous opportunities that India represents today. I think one also has to be aware of developments like artificial intelligence. A lot is made out of ChatGPT as if it's going to, it does have the potential to be life-changing. I think it will need greater thought and perhaps some degree of regulation. But again, as a CEO, one has to be aware of trends like artificial intelligence in order to keep up with the times. But most importantly, I think the point I want to make is that change is disruptive. When you talk about digitalization, you talk about disintermediation, which is removing the middlemen. So when you talk about travel, when you talk about tourism, people are now directly booking tickets. So the era of travel agencies, etc., all of that is under pressure. I'm just using one example. I think there are many examples of industries and sectors getting completely shaken up by innovation, and therefore change being disruptive. Companies and CEOs need to be alert to not just opportunities but to threats as well, and maneuver and be agile so as to move ahead. So in conclusion, I think I'm very positive about the opportunities that are before us as Indians. I think we are privileged to be living in this era. This is our moment of reckoning. Our time has come, but for us to realize our true potential, I think all stakeholders must be aligned in achieving India's growth potential. Because let's keep in mind one basic fact, that we matter today simply because of the economic opportunity we represent. If we realize that opportunity, then the path ahead is fantastic. And that is what we have to ensure, that all stakeholders need to align in order to achieve India's growth potential. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, sir. And now, on behalf of SAMBAD, I take this moment to thank all our partners, our associates and our supporters. So please, I would request everyone to join your hands for Startup Odisha. This is in the partnership with, please put your hands together for Startup Odisha. And this event is in association with JSPL, KIT, MGM Minerals Limited, and the supports that we have got from CV Raman College of Engineering, iNEET, Premier Institute of NEET, Aptiplus, CapDeal, Siksha O Anusandhan University, Sai International School, ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India, Paradip Phosphates Limited, Nalco, SN Mohanty Group of Companies, Harshapriya Constructions Private Limited, MCL, and Paradip Port Authority. Please put your hands together for all the supporters that we have with us this evening. And now I would request the SAMBAD IT team to please play the corporate video. Can we have the audio visual, please?
A new era dawned in Orissa on October 4, 1984, with the foray of SAMBAD into the print media landscape. The new entrant into the industry created ripples with its path-breaking decisions in presentation and treatment of news. The readers got fresh news instead of stale news after the morning edition was launched, doing away with the dark edition. Since then, SAMBAD has been able to relentlessly disseminate news reports from nook and cranny of the state to grow into the largest media conglomerate of the state, SAMBAD Group. Kanak News has also been able to carve out a special identity as a 24/7 news channel. It has diligently served as the fourth pillar of democracy by being the voice of the voiceless. SAMBAD Group has played a leading role in bringing news from across the world to your fingertips. The digital media wing is always ahead of others in bringing news to you.
A very good morning!
Welcome back, Solution to Odisha, number 1 of
Radio Chocolate is well ahead of its competitors in broadcasting soulful songs and heart-touching stories. Odisha's first private radio station, Radio Chocolate 104 FM, has been the listener's first choice. To preserve the Jatra tradition and for the entertainment of people, Chocolate Rangamancha has continued its endeavor in offering new and fresh family dramas to the viewers. No one shall die for want of blood. Amo Odisha is doing an exemplary service to the society by organizing statewide blood donation camps. SAMBAD Sahitya Ghara, monthly magazines Porusho and Katha play a pivotal role in keeping Odia language, literature and culture alive. Institutes under the aegis of SAMBAD Group of institutions are playing a key role in offering scholarships and affordable courses to meritorious students. SAMBAD Group's unparalleled contribution in the fields of journalism, education, literature, information, and social welfare has etched new imprints on the map of Orissa. We are SAMBAD Group, Orissa's #1 media house. We are always with the people and always ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen. And now it is time to call upon to the podium. We are very honored to have Mr. Tushar Kanti Behra, Honorable Minister Electronics and IT, Sports and Youth Services, Government of India amongst us. Sir, I would request you to please deliver your speech. Please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Tushar Kanti Behra.
Good morning, one and all. Honorable MLA Khanpada and editor of SAMBAD, Sri Soumi Patnaik, respected MD of IMPA and President FICCI, Sri Subhrakant Panda, respected Sri Shashi Sinha, CEO of IGP Media Brands India, respected Sri Avinash Pandey, CEO of ABP Networks, respected MD of SAMBAD Group, Monica Nair Patnaik, all the dignitaries of the dais and media friends. I extend my sincere gratitude and congratulations to all who have present here today for this special occasion. Friends, under the visionary leadership of Honorable CM Sri Naveen Patnaik, today Odisha has created a unique identity all over the world, starting from the disaster management, successful fight against COVID-19. Odisha has grabbed the attention of everyone by doing remarkable work in various fields like agriculture, irrigation, transport, sports, healthcare, information technology, education, social security, and Mission Shakti. Similarly, Odisha has successfully organized many international events like Asian Athletics, Men's Hockey World Cup 2018 and 2023, Commonwealth Table Tennis Championship, FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, SAP Football Championship, Under-14 Asia Tennis Championship, and International Football, etc. Odisha has now been able to achieve the status of a sports hub all over the world. At the same time, in the recent few years, Odisha has brought revolutionary changes in the field of IT. Many big companies like Infosys, Wipro, Tech Mahindra, and recently IBM, Deloitte, PwC have invested in the state and created many employment opportunities. We have been able to develop our own ecosystem with the introduction of new IT policies, BPO policy, data center policy, and ESDM policy in the state. Many investments have come to the state through Make in Odisha Conclave 2022. The state government continues to make efforts to establish industries and create employment opportunities by making appropriate investments across the state, as there is huge reserve of natural resources. The state government has introduced several schemes for the development of large-scale industries as well as micro, small, and medium industries. The government has many schemes to make the youth self-reliant by establishing agriculture and food processing industries across the state. Now, for the development of the state, there is a great need for industrial establishment, and we assure to support it in all ways. Media plays a major role in creating a favorable environment for the industry. The media is able to create a positive impact and atmosphere and create awareness about the purpose of establishing an industry and the benefits it can bring to the state. Therefore, efforts must be made at all levels to create an industrial atmosphere in the state by facing all the challenges in the coming days. I conclude here. Thank you. Jai Hind. Bande Utkal Janam.
Thank you so very much, sir. Now I would request Shri Soumi Patnaik, sir, editor of SAMBAD and the chairman of SAMBAD Group, to say a few words. Please put your hands together for Mr. Patnaik here.
जय जगन्नाथ संवाद परिवार तरफरु मु समस्त को स्वागत करुच्ची ओडिया रे कहवा एइथपाई चाहूँगी उभय श्रीयुक्त अविनाश पांडे एंड शशि सिन्हा जी in their presentation very rightly pointed out to the role of language in our cultural life and history, and particularly I must compliment and congratulate him for remembering Fakirmohan Senapati and the epoch-making novel Rebati, and for women's empowerment. I am humbled and very happy to note, maybe many of us may not be knowing as much of Rebati and Fakirmohan Senapati as you do. My compliments and congratulations to you. संवाद तार जीवन यात्रा रे केवल खबर कागज प्रकाश करिबारे विश्वास करे नहीं। मु आमर प्रमुख शिल्पानुष्ठान टाटा स्टील रो गोटे विज्ञापन मते सबुठारु बेसी प्रभावित करे। इफ यू रिमेंबर, सिन्हा जी तो अभी हैं यहाँ, उनसे क्या बताना है। द फेमस टैगलाइन वाज वी ऑल्सो मेक स्टील। मुझे लगता है मुझे भी कहना चाहिए, हम कभी कभार को खबर प्रकाश कर लेते हैं, छाप लेते हैं, दिखा देते हैं और बता देते हैं। संवादर दीर्घ जीवन यात्रा रे अनेक गुड़िए कार्यक्रम आमे करूँ। ओडिशा रे गोटे कथा अच्छी, हिंदी में बोले तो ये होगा, महीना 12 है लेकिन इनका इवेंट्स 13 है। 12 मास रे 13 पर्व। कौन सी मास को आमे छाड़ुना किछि ना किछि गोटे करि थाउ, किंतु आमे जेते गुड़िए कार्यक्रम करूँ खबर छापिबा छड़ा एई विभिन्न कार्यक्रम मध्यरे गत वर्ष ठारू आरंभ करिथिबा सीईओ कॉन्क्लेव मो विचार रे मो पाई सबुठारू गुरुत्वपूर्ण। काहींकि गुरुत्वपूर्ण, मु महात्मा गांधी आउ गोटे कथा को सदाबले गुरुत्व दिए। सेटा हला when somebody asked him, why are you afraid of going to jail, he said, I am afraid of the company I will find in the jail. Jail as such is not a problem for me. It is exactly the reverse for me. एही भली कार्यक्रम करिबा माध्यम रे जो बंधु मानु को आमे अतिथि हिसाब रे, बंधु हिसाब रे किछि समय पाई पाऊ, किछि समय पाई तांको सहित कटाऊ, विभिन्न प्रसंग रे आलोचना करू, सेटा आम पाई अत्यंत हितकारक होता है। एक्सट्रीमली एजुकेटिव, informative, very innovative of you to tell us that don't worry, the print media, the future is yours, you are still not dead. We are not dead, we will be jumping back again. सिन्हा साहब और अविनाश पांडे को व्यक्तिगत भाव कृतज्ञता जनइबी। प्रथम सेशन रे गणमाध्यमर एभली एक कार्यक्रम रे से आम मान समस्तंकर साहस बढ़ाई। समस्ते जितेबले कांदुचंती जे मेरा क्या होगा रे कालिया, हम लोगों का क्या होगा, ठीक सेतिकी बेले से कहउचंती भय करिवार किछि कारण नाही, भविष्यत निश्चित भाव रे आह्वानपूर्ण, किंतु ए सुजोग को मध्य हाथ छड़ा करिबा उचित नुहे। आह्वान एवं सुजोग रेल के दो पटरी के तरह साथ साथ जाते हैं, कभी घबराने की जरूरत नहीं है। Many thanks for what have you said, and I think my colleagues here and every one of us here will be very happy to share with you. सुब्रकांत पंडा को पाई हमारा तो 4 चांद लग गया। उड़ीसा में कभी फीकी का कोई हेड हो पाएगा ये विश्वास हम लोगों का नहीं था। श्रीयुक्त पंडा को मो पिला बेलू जाने, शिल्प कहले आमे बंशीधर पंडा को बुझुथुलु। श्रीयुक्त शुभ्रकांत पंडांकर पितांकर नाम बंशीधर पंडा। ता पूर्वरु विजु पट्टनायक राजनीति रे प्रवेश करिबा पूर्वरु से मध्य शिल्पोद्योगी थिले, किंतु ओडिशा रे शिल्पपतिर जदि आख्या के प्रथम थर पाई थिले से हेले डॉक्टर बंशीधर पंडा। अमेरिका रो इंजीनियरिंग पास करी चाकरी पछरे नगोड़े निजे गोटे शिल्पानुष्ठान गढ़िबा पाई कोरापुट रायगड़ा भली अंचल रे जे साहस करथिले, आज तांकर दायद सही शिल्पानुष्ठान को बढ़ाई चलीचंती एवं भारतर एक शिल्प गोष्ठीर से नेतृत्व नौचंती। ये आम पाई गर्व एवं गौरवर कारण एभली एक कॉन्क्लेव रे वो नहीं होते तो बिल्कुल किरकिरा हो जाता। इसीलिए मु तांको मध्य स्वागत जणैबा संगे संगे तांकर वक्तव्य पाई एवं तांकर परामर्श पाई बहुत धन्यवाद दउछि। सभा शेष रे जहाँ को हमें मुख्य अतिथि भाव में पाइचु, सबसे यंग है। यूथ लोगों के बारे में यहाँ बताया गया, द यंग कंट्री इज ए यंग कंट्री एंड द फ्यूचर इज आवर्स। आजिर एवं नवीन बाबू मध्य तांको स्पोर्ट्स एंड युव व्यापार दायित्व देइछन। युव व्यापार दायित्व सहित तांको आईटी रो दायित्व मध्य देइछन्ति। आधुनिक जुगरे आमे जो सब कथा को सबठारु बेसी गुरुत्व दौचु, युवक मानकर कथा, खेलकूदर कथा एवं आईटी रो कथा, से सबु दायित्व आपण माने जानी खुशी हेबे। से एभली गोटे सामाजिक वर्गरु आसिचंती जो मानकर उत्थान आम समस्तक पई गोटे विराट बड़ केवल आह्वान ही नहीं, जो मानक उत्थान रे आमे समस्ते गर्व एवं गौरव अनुभव करूँ। एवं से मध्य आईआईटी रु आईटी इन्फॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी रे उच्चतम डिग्री हासिल करिचंती। मते लागे से बोधे एई कॉन्क्लेव पई तैयारी हेचंती। तांकर शिक्षागत, तांकर वृत्तिगत, तांकर सामाजिक सबुकिछि एवं तांकर बयस सबुकिछि आजिर एई कॉन्क्लेव पई उद्दिष्ट एवं तांकर उपस्थिति मुख्य अतिथि भाव में आम समस्त को उत्साहित करुच्ची एवं आनंद दौची। बंधुगण, मीडिया संपर्क रे उभय सिन्हा साहब और अविनेश पांडे जी अनेक गुड़िए कथा कही, परामर्श देइचंती। और सिन्हा साहब privately what he will tell Mr. Pandey I don't know, which he has promised on the platform, but सिन्हा साहब कथा को मु अत्यंत गुरुत्व दौची। वी आर वन विथ यू। आमे मध्य भावुचु द फ्यूचर इज आवर्स। जो माने भावंती जे विश्वर विकसित राज्य बा राष्ट्र मानकरे सबु किछि अछि, अन्य ठारे किछि नाही, मु सेथिरे विश्वास करे नाही। भारत रे मध्य जो माने भावंती महाराष्ट्र, पंजाब किंबा पुणे रे ही सबु किछि होउची, अन्य जगह रे हो नाही, मु सेथिरे विश्वास करे नाही। मोर इतिहास रो अध्यापक had told me one thing which I still remember. He has told me about the advantages of so-called backwardness. Mr. Baraklo was the historian. आमको जो माने पछुआ कहउचंती, किछि दिन परे देखिबे आमे सब केते आगरे अछु। अतीतर विकसित राष्ट्र मानकु हासिल करिबा पई जहाँ 50 वर्ष रु 100 वर्ष लागिला, आम हुए तो सही कथा को आसंता 10 वर्ष मध्य because of the technology that we have, because of the experience that we have, because of the challenges and the opportunity that we have been able to manage. किंतु शिल्पोद्योगी बंधु मानू केवल एतिकी मु कहबा पई चाहे जे सबु किछिर विकासर मापकाठी जो माने कहिले जे केते ट्रिलियन रो आमे इकोनॉमी, आमे विश्वर प्रथम, द्वितीय, तृतीय, चतुर्थ, पंचम रे अछु, तृतीय को जीवु। एसबुर गाणितिक हिसाब रे विकास को मापिले प्रकृत उच्चता बा प्रकृत विकास जना पड़िबो नाही। There is something more than just the numbers that you are talking about. यहाँ विकासर प्रकृत मापकाठी हला को वैल्यू सिस्टम को आपण ग्रहण करुचंती, को मूल्यबोध को आपण प्रचार एवं प्रसार करिबा पई संकल्प नैचंती। भारत विविधता भितरे एकतार कथा को, यूनिटी इन डाइवर्सिटी कथा को सबु बेले विश्वास करी आसीची। जेते विकास कले मध्य जदि भारतर एई विविधता भितरे एकतार विचार को आमे भारत विचार को सम्मान जणिबा नाही, से विकासर किछि मूल्य रहिबो नाही। द्वितीय कथाटी हला अर्थनैतिक मांदा अवस्था रे सीओ मानकर भूमिका अत्यंत गुरुत्वपूर्ण। गोटे अनुकूल परिवेश रे विकासर यात्रा अत्यंत सहज एवं टार्गेट अचीव करिबा अत्यंत सहज इनसेंटिव बांटिबा आदौ कष्ट हुए नहीं किंतु मते लगे सीओटी गोटे नुआ नेतृत्व देवाई उद्यम करिवार जो सामर्थ्य गोटे चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव पाखरे थिबा दरकार। मु अधिक लंबा भाषण देवाई चाहे नहीं केवल दुईटी कथा कही सीओ बंधु मानू मु मोर व्यक्तिगत मनर कथा कहवाकू चाहे। सीओ बंधु माने गोटे कथा भाविबा उचित नेतृत्व नेला बेले अनुष्ठान पाई गोटे पुरस्कार ग्रहण कला बेले द बेस्ट सीओ रो एवार्ड नेला बेले गोटे कथा मने रखंतु इंग्राजी रे कहा जाए लक कम्स व्हेन अपॉर्चुनिटी मीट्स प्रिपरेशन किंतु मो विचार रे मु भाग्यर गोटे भिन्न परिभाषा करिछि। इट्स ए डिफरेंट डेफिनेशन ऑफ लक। यू आर लकी बिकॉज यू हैव गॉट गुड कलीग्स अराउंड यू। तुम्हें निज पाखरे अत्यंत भल सहयोगी मानू पाइच बोली तुम्हें भाग्यवान। सीओ किछि काम हब नाही। हार्वर्ड मैनेजमेंट डिग्री सकल संकल्प कोटी कोटी टंकार पुंजी अनुकूल परिवेश किछि काम देव नाही जदि तुमर निम्नतम सहयोगी तुमको से भली सम्मान श्रद्धा सहित सहयोगर हाथ बढ़ेब नाही। तेणु सीओ बंधु मानू ए प्रकार एवं मांदा अवस्था रे सीओ मानकर चैलेंज को मुकाबिला करबा पाई जदि मते किए पचारे आपको क्या कहना है, मैं ये समझता हूँ कि मेरे माँ मो बोऊ ठारू कई भल सीओ मु एपर्यंत देखी ना। आजिकाली आपण माने जो माने बाप माँ होती गोटे कि दुईटी एक के बाद अभी नहीं दो के बाद कभी नहीं की जो सरकारी कानून था उसी में गए हैं। लेकिन मेरा माँ 8 बच्चों को पाला है, मेरा नंबर है 7 और मेरे के ऊपर जो हैं मुझसे भी ज़्यादा होनेहार हैं। तो इससे आप समझ सकते हैं वो सीओ जो मेरा माँ है जो कि मंदी के टाइम में लिमिटेड इकोनॉमी में इतना बड़ा परिवार को केवल चलाया नहीं, हमारा जैसे अखबार वाले को भी पैदा कर दिया। उससे बड़ा सीओ कौन हो सकता है? क्या था उनमें जो आजकल के सीओ में नहीं हो सकता। प्लीज़ रिमेंबर द वैल्यू सिस्टम, प्लीज़ रिमेंबर द मदर्स great capacity to unite the family and carry the family with minimum and with very recession prone economic condition of the family, and how they succeeded. If she could, we all of us can also be successful. Therefore, let me close with these remarks that संवाद परिवार आपण मान को एकाठी करी अत्यंत आनंदित गर्वित आउ जो दुई सेशन बा पर्याय रे आमे आलोचना करिबा। अनेक बंधु आसिचंती समय दे आपण मान को देखला बेले बहुत निजुको गर्व अनुभव होउची कि हम लोग आमर निमंत्रण रक्षा करी ओडिशार अनेक मान्यगण्य व्यक्ति अनुभवी शिल्पोद्योगी आमको आशीर्वाद करने पे आसिचंती। सबुठारु शेष कथाटी न कहले कृतज्ञ होइजिबी। से कथाटी हला सिन्हा साहब निश्चित भाव में बुझुथिबे, अविनाश पांडे बुझुथिबे। इतना बड़ा कार्यक्रम अगर स्पॉन्सर नहीं होते तो हम लोग कर नहीं पाते। आजकल स्पॉन्सरों की संख्या कम हो रही है, विज्ञापन बाजार मांदा ही जाइछि, तथापि आपण मानकर उपस्थिति हमको उत्साहित करुछि। एभली कार्यक्रम चलिबो, आपण मानकर आशीर्वादर हाथ आम उपरे रहिथिबो बोली आशा रखी धन्यवाद कृतज्ञता जणाई विदाय नेउछि। वंदे उत्कल जननी।
Thank you so much, sir. He's the wizard of words by storytelling and acknowledging the important aspects of life. So please put your hands together once again for Mr. Patnaik here. And now it is time to felicitate our distinguished guests on the stage. So I would request Ms. Monica and Mr. Patnaik to please felicitate our esteemed guest of this evening. And I would request, ladies and gentlemen, to put your hands together, because having all these guests together in this evening on the panel, it is an honor. So I would request everyone to please join your hands. Thank you so very much, sir, for being here and being a part of SAMBAD CEO Conclave 2023, taking some time out from your busy schedules and gracing this event with your wonderful, wonderful presence. We cannot thank you enough for your presence in this amazing evening. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with the distinguished guest of this evening. Please join your hands once again. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. And now we will quickly move on to the panel discussion. The session number 1 is Leadership and Teamwork Guide a CEO to Strategies and Lead the Organization. Comment on all other factors too. To moderate this session, I would request Ms. Tanaya Patnaik, Executive Director, SAMBAD Group. And I would request our panelists to please come up on stage. Ms. Usha Padi, IAS, Principal Secretary, Skill Development and Technical Education, Government of Odisha. Mr. Manoj Kumar Mishra, Principal Secretary, Electronics and IT, Government of Odisha. Dr. Omkar Rai, Executive Chairman, Startup Odisha. I would request all the guests to please come up on stage. And I would request Ms. Monica to please felicitate our so I would request all the panelists on the stage. And ladies and gentlemen, as we welcome our guests on the stage, this session would be Leadership and Teamwork Guide a CEO to Strategies and Lead the Organization. To moderate this session, I would request Ms. Tanaya Patnaik, Executive Director, SAMBAD Group.
Can we please have some more cordless mics? Very good evening to all of you. I hope all of you have had your tea, coffee, cookies, and are ready for what I hope will be a very engaging session on leadership and teamwork. So when Monica Nair Patnaik told me that, Tani, you moderate this session at the CEO Conclave, I was like, okay, cool. Who are the panelists? Who are the CEOs? Then she was like, Usha Padi and Manoj Mishra and Omkar Rai. I'm like, these are all bureaucrats. What am I going to ask them? Then I paused, and on second thought, I thought that, what exactly is the role of a CEO? Strategizing, team management, talent management, leadership, having a vision, and all that. And I think all of them are currently doing all this and much more. Usha Padi, madam, she's the first. She has been the first woman Director General of the Bureau of Civil Aviation Security, the first woman to be the chairperson cum Managing Director of Pavan Hans Limited, Mini Ratna Central Public Sector Enterprise, and currently she's heading the skill education, the skill department, technical education, commerce and transport department. We have Dr. Omkar Rai. He has headed the STPI. He's currently the executive chairman of Startup Odisha. We have Manoj Mishra, a lot of experience, rich experience in rail management, and currently he's heading the IT and electronics department. He's the chief executive of ORSAC, Odisha Space Application Research. Today I got to know about this organization from Google, to be very honest. So, and all of them work very, very closely with a lot of CEOs, a lot of leaders, a lot of founders and entrepreneurs. And in this session, I am really looking forward to digging into their experience over the last few decades and what is their perspective on leadership and teamwork for leaders. I'm going to ask Usha ma'am first. They say that this is the century of women. Women are going places. But you know what? When it comes to women bosses or women leaders, people say that women leaders are very bossy. And that's the general allegation. And to be very honest, till today, women leaders are not taken very, very seriously. So do you think women leaders have to be bossy because they have to be more assertive to be taken seriously? And you being a woman who has, you've been the first to lead so many organizations, so many departments, where you had to adapt to various departments, various job roles. Have you faced any bias? And how have you handled a situation like this, if you have faced?
Samastanku namaskar. I'm honored to be here, actually. Let me answer the question that she started saying that women leaders are bossy. So she mentioned leader as well as boss. Huh? So we, in an understanding that I mean, like in many quotes, you can see that leaders are somebody who actually inspires, whereas bosses usually drive. I mean, I feel the perception, I mean, everything is on perception. And it depends. Women at the highest level who have broken the glass ceilings and in the managerial position or in the boardroom positions, they are seen by men as a very aggressive because they have not seen women in such role. So from the men's side, they think that women are here and they have seen women in a very stereotype thing, and they think that this is not the way women have to behave because they are conditioned like that. They are not supposed to see women in a leadership role or in an, as you said, as a team leader or as a boss rather. Whereas from women perspective, because they have reached with so many impediments. If you have seen one Twitter of Anand Mahindra, where there is a race for a boardroom and a man is running and a woman is also running. And women have a washing machine in between, washing utensils, and there are so many hurdles, whereas for men it is a straight race. So women has reached that position with lot of odds, which many may not understand. And at that situation, many times there is a psychology or there is a feeling where they have to prove themselves at every step. So maybe because of proving, they have to become little assertive. So I distinguish between leader and boss. At the same time, I also distinguish between the aggressiveness and also assertiveness. If women are not assertive, which is a positive assertive or affirmation type of assertiveness, it is not possible to head that team. So in that way, I see that it's about the perception, but as a leader, every woman or it's a man, it's like as a leader, there is no gender. They have to take their team along. Just now, sir said that it is not about the leader themselves. They become leader because of the people who are around them. That goodness, if they bring among the people who are around them, I think all these perceptions which they have, that will vanish, and there will be actually a true perception, and through meaningful action. I mean, whenever we do the meaningful action, I think everybody sees in a right perspective. And I believe in the goodness of the people, and I don't think, and at any position, if you ask me my personal experience, yes, there have been something as it's a perception, but as we work along, and it is my responsibility to see that they look at me as one of their colleague who can make them see the vision and also do the meaningful action. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come back to the last point which you made later. So as we're in the CEO conclave, and we have a lot of CEOs, founders, entrepreneurs in the audience, I would like to ask Dr. Rai, that when do you think it is the right time for a founder to hire a CEO for their company or organization? Because, you know, we have founders who double up as CEOs a lot of the times. They do everything. But I think there comes a time, either when you're scaling up for whatever reasons, what would your advice be, because you work with so many companies, so many startups, that when should a founder consider hiring a CEO?
Thank you very much for hosting me here. It's a great opportunity. As far as the question is concerned, you have also given a kind of indicative reply. In fact, in my earlier role, I used to work with the major IT companies and the top chief executives who were running a company having 100,000 people, 200,000 people. But now in the startup ecosystem, if you look at, they start with few people, they start with some idea, and then they gather people who can work for solving some problem, create some product. Sooner they grow, and then they attract investors, mentors with them, and the elders, the wise men start coming to them, and then they start advising. I think this is the natural process, and as they grow, they realize that at a point of time they led the organization, they ideated, they created product, they created services, they have accessed the market to some extent. Now when they are trying to make their machine, their product, their services, which can roll out, which can, you know, cover a lot of market, they can scale, they can create horizontal coverage. And at that point of time, they start looking for a professional who has run big corporation or who have been trained by top management schools, because they are the people who create processes, they create procedures, they create norms, standards, and then they run the corporation. And therefore, this is the kind of trend that we look at. If you ask a founder of a startup that what kind of person you would like to hire now, so when they start, they say that I want a young boy, young engineer coming out of engineering college, who has some kind of idea, and they can be trained, they can be, and if after 5 years of running, they are looking forward for a person who has been working in a major company or who has been working in a technology consulting company to help them to grow and scale. This is the way it is.
Thank you so much, sir. I'll ask Mr. Mishra my next question. So, ଆମର ଓଡ଼ିଶାରେ CEO ମାନେ ଅଛନ୍ତି ଯେ 5 ଟଙ୍କାର ଚାହା 20 ଟଙ୍କାର ସିଙ୍ଗଡ଼ାର ବିଲ୍ ବି ଆପ୍ରୁଭ୍ କରନ୍ତି ଆଉ ଲକ୍ଷ ଲକ୍ଷ କୋଟି କୋଟି ଟଙ୍କାର equipmentର bill be approved karanti. So, you know, CEO has a lot of day-to-day operational demands as well as the bigger role of a long-term strategic vision. So tell us something about your leadership style and how do you find the right balance between, you know, day-to-day management and, you know, focusing and spending your time on the larger strategy and vision.
Thank you. I think I got the most difficult question. But the caveat I should begin with is that we bureaucrats are more managers. We are senior managers, we are not leaders. Our leaders are different. In fact, my leader is sitting right in front of me. So I'm humbled, sir. I'm having to answer on your behalf. But I'll try to do a job of it. The vision and the mission which is set by the leaders for the organization, for in this case for the state, is like the North Star. So whenever you are a little confused, you need to know why you are doing it. We in our day-to-day activities, we are so pressed that we are struggling every day, everything is urgent, nothing is important, that kind of a setup, you work from morning to night, you tend to lose a little bit of focus as to why you are doing it. So my personal view is that leadership and everything is personal, how we perceive it. And I think the greater goal is something that needs to guide you from time to time. You certainly cannot measure it every day because it takes a little while to reach one step, next step. But if you lose focus of that, then you would not value the work you are doing day in and day out. So my job is I identify with the greater goal first, and then we break it down. And whichever is aligned towards that greater goal, as I said, to the North Star, that is what gives me a lot of pleasure doing it. A lot of people say that job is hard. Actually, it is. It is hard because you become purposeless. Sometimes you don't know why you are doing it. So, for example, if while we were students, we always felt the class that we have passed out last year was easier, much easier. But we didn't feel it at that time when we were doing it. Mainly because we had that stress of that examination, that if you are in the 10th, then the matriculation exam is the purpose. You are not enjoying the process. But if you know why you are doing it, it's not the 10th board you are doing it because you will, many will not agree, but maybe to get your date of birth certificate, that is what 10th, my matriculation certificate is all about, you would not have any pressure. So in job field, in work, it is the purpose which guides your day-to-day activities. Otherwise, if you lose focus about your purpose, you get tired. I think my North Star is very clear. I think all of us, our North Star is Honorable CM. He says a thing and we do it. Just recently we have had a massive and very unfortunate train accident in Balsor. The only thing that CM told us is that whatever it takes, do your best. Now is the role of Ministry of Railways, role of the state government, whether it is the revenue department, the collector or the transport department, we didn't bother with anything. And we worked non-stop for about almost 72 hours. Ma'am was there doing overnight work there. We didn't get tired, mainly because that North Star is there. So I think the greater purpose is something that we should not lose sight of.
Thank you so much. When we're talking about leadership and CEOs, the question of work-life balance always props up. The question of, how much we're investing in self-care, how much we're taking care of our own wellness. Now, I'm sure all of you are expecting me to ask this work-life balance question to Usha ma'am, but I'm not going to ask her. I'm going to ask this to Dr. Mishra, Shri Mishra again. So tell me, how do you balance your work and your home? Is it difficult? Is it possible? And do you prioritize it honestly?
What exactly is work-life balance? See, normally what the mistake we did is, we still do, is that we tend to judge that balance in terms of hours, time. So how much time you are giving at home, how much time you are giving at work. The moment you start doing division of time, you will neither be here nor be there. People we know, all of us get inspired with leaders, people we know. Just think about the 5 most successful people you know, and you would understand that none of them did not enjoy their job. If you enjoy your job, things what you do is something that Steve Jobs had told much before. I think 20 years back I had heard a snippet from him. If you like what you do, you don't really feel that you are doing something which is imbalanced. But while we do that, I don't get tired of work. I think I have not seen any officers, our colleagues getting tired of work. Most of us wear multiple hats. But at the same time, you would say that, are you doing justice to the family? That's the question. But instead of time, think about whatever time you spend with people, how much of quality you are giving to that time. If I'm sitting here giving you 20 minutes time, I should be here. I shouldn't be somewhere else. I can spend 5 hours with my kids, without even uttering a word, be on my mobile, watch something on Netflix and do that. Is that work-life balance? I don't do that. I talk to my kid for 20 minutes. When she comes home from a swimming, she's tired, I just ask her how's the day. I think that 20 minutes is gold dust. You can say that it is like spending 20 hours. So balance, don't try to find in terms of time spent. If you do that, you'll be successful in both the spheres. So therefore, I think work-life balance is a myth. It's overrated. Don't think about that. Try to find a vocation or a job which you like to do. Then the balance will come automatically.
So do you think it is easier to say this as a male CEO? Because I don't think a woman CEO can say work-life balance is a myth. I think Usha ma'am will agree with me.
No, I'll just say one sentence before I pass it on to ma'am. We have this prism we look through. People, men, women, child from Odisha, from Delhi.
That's
from
the ground reality.
It could be a reality. It could be a reality that you are from India and somebody else from USA is more privileged. But that's the reality, that's our truth. If you like your job, she does like her job very much. Is she not able to get work-life balance? So it is about, if you are not liking your job, you don't like your family, you get stressful everywhere. If you know how to spend quality time with people who matter, then this work-life balance will be much easier to achieve. But I still take your point, is that for a woman, where in the normal families, where the responsibilities of work, hard work at home is far more than on a man, it's difficult. But at the same time, the principle remains the same. It's when I think your father, he enumerated about how our mothers raised us. So it is the way they used to cook, the way they used to do things. I don't think they did it just because they had to. They did it from their soul. So that's a different game altogether. It's difficult, but it is possible if you love what you do.
And that's a totally different debate altogether, which deserves a session of its own. But thank you so much. I'll ask Dr. Rai something that's on my mind. Shri Mishra spoke about how the Honorable Chief Minister, who is his leader, gave them complete freedom to plan, to strategize the rescue and restoration process at the unfortunate accident that happened. But tell me, like, how difficult it is for leaders. I know a lot of CEOs who want to delegate, but they cannot delegate. They want the control also. They don't know how to trust their teams. So tell me, how does one find that right balance between delegating, empowering their teams, but also retaining some control at the end of the day?
I think it's a very interesting question. In fact, if you ask how fast you want to grow, then you are going to delegate more. Once you have grown, you are trying to now create control. Same thing, startup versus major companies. Like what happens that when you want to delegate people, because you have an aspiration to grow faster, so you don't want to put them under processes, you don't want to control them. All your leaders, all your team members, they will be delegated because you have aspiration to grow and you want to prove or you want to achieve something. You are connecting with a larger goal. So the kind of freedom you have to delegate to your colleagues, your team, has to be larger. And if they get autonomous and if they get more power, they deliver more. So it's all collective achievement that your team makes. It gets to your credit. Now look at any organization or any initiative, any endeavor a leader or a CEO so-called takes. Initially we delegate more, but as we grow, you have heard of multinational companies like IBM, Oracle, Cisco and such others, Microsoft, and they say that we are more government than any government because they are so process driven, they are so stringent. Why? Because they can afford to do that. They have to be process driven because they have grown a lot and now they have to grow with a steady and they don't want that disruptive growth. So it depends which kind of endeavor you are leading, which kind of organization you are living, which stage, which time you are leading that organization. It depends what kind of delegation you have to give. As Mr. Mishra you have also mentioned, because the Honorable CM, when he listens or hears about a kind of tragedy, he has complete freedom because there you just cannot control. But once you have to regulate a state, little control is required. So this is the way I look at it.
Usha ma'am, so you know, when we open social media nowadays, I think it's the age of awards. So this founder is getting this award, this entrepreneur is getting that award, it's awards, awards, awards everywhere. I acknowledge that recognition, awards, appreciation is very, very important for CEOs. But I think it's equally important to talk about failure, which, you know, we don't really touch upon those topics. We only talk about the good things, we talk about successes. But I want to ask you, has there been a time in your life, in your career, where you have faced failure, where you have faced a setback? How have you handled that situation? And at that point of time, how have you managed to keep the team motivated and go ahead?
Manoj, you should be happy. The difficult question has come to me now. See, what I am today, maybe the failure has the equal contribution, if not more, as it is for the success. All of us have that. I mean, that's the life we call, right? We have every day we face. If you become a little philosophical, I mean, always you don't have good thing, but bad time also comes. How you sail it through, that is an issue. Yes, there have been many failures, and it's again, if I think that that's a failure, yes, it's a failure. If I think, yes, it was a good effort, we tried our best, but it did not happen, that's another way of looking at things. But when it happens, certainly the demotivation happens, because something you have put so much of effort, and the things did not come out as per the expectations. So all of us feel bad about it. Chandrayana happened, something happened, you have seen that, I mean, like heart-touching episodes. So it's always there, and especially when we are in the public life, or when we are in the leading a team. And I do believe that leaders are not only those people who leads. I mean, like we say, na, like everybody has that leadership. Everybody is a leader in their own terms. So when we are having such team along with us, they are giving their best to us. So maybe we can, during that time, how we react to that situation and how we try to learn a lot and then address and come out with more, I mean, flying colors. That's where the, I think the characteristics or the values lie. I can give plenty of examples, and the team which has been there, we try to work with them, and maybe it may not be incentives or it may not be the recognition, but a good word, and if they think that we are with them, and the, I mean, as Manoj was telling, we all see a purpose in what we are doing. It's not about the one or two activities we are taking up. It's not about that, but the greater purpose which we are doing. I mean, we have that famous fable in which we say that whether I am building just a building or I am building something which houses various activities for which I think I am contributor. And my chairperson Subrata Bakshi always says one story. A janitor, the sweeper in NASA, he will not see himself as I am just a sweeper or a janitor. He sees himself as like he is the person who is going to put the man in the moon. So that is how the perspective which we have to bring among the team, and then once we are in that level where we understand each other's requirement and work for each other and try to achieve that purpose, I'm sure that the success and failure, of course we are not like Sthita Prajna as it is said in Bhagavad Gita, but still we can sail it through and try to come out more strongly and resiliently after that event. So that is what I say.
Absolutely. Again, talking about failures, Dr. Rai, we have a vibrant startup ecosystem, but again, we see a lot of startups failing. So the startup leaders, entrepreneurs, they are a completely new breed of leaders. They believe in disruption. They believe in doing everything differently. Everything is different, their management style, their leadership style. So when startups fail, somewhere it is also a failure of leadership. So could you tell us where are these new age CEOs going wrong, and what can the new gang learn from the old gang, the traditional CEOs?
And what can the old gang also learn from the new gang?
In fact, if you look at the startup ecosystem world over, on an average, it's not a perfect statistics, but people say that it is about 5 to 6%, that is this kind of success rate. The rest of the startups and founders fail. Now let us look at how do we define failure. In these times, failure is defined as another experience. So it's kind of acquiring wisdom. You know, one of the founders from this state itself, Farai, it's a very successful startup, and they are very soon they are kind of Sunicon. They are now based in out of Noida, and that founder had founded, before founding this successful venture, he has founded 4 to 5 startups before that. He failed all 5 times. So now failure in these times are not seen actual, they are, only literal sense is failure, because you learn a lot. If you look at management institutions, they allow their students to go and fail and come back, and in case they fail, they get better package now. They appear for the campus interviews later on, and they get better package. If you have been founder of a startup, failed founder of a startup, you get admissions in better management institution with a lot of scholarship. So now the entire ecosystem across the world has changed. Now failure is actually not a failure, because you have endeavored, you have shown leadership, and that is the way people are looking at, as it's not kind of sadness or it's not kind of, you need not to be sad if you fail, because you have earned some experience, you have earned some insight, and you have learned few skills of leadership. So this is the way people are looking at failure in the startup ecosystem right now, not only in India, all across the world.
Thank you. My question to Mr. Mishra will be, have you ever faced a situation where you have differed, there have been differences between what you think and what your team members are suggesting? So now we live in a world where people just cannot agree to disagree. They take offense, and it's just not a very happy situation. So has there been a situation where you've had to take a tough call of not going with your senior team members' suggestions, and how do you in that situation maintain harmony, being respectful towards each other, and again, fostering this culture and environment where people's opinions are respected, and at the same time we have to take a firm decision at some point. So how do you maintain that team dynamic?
People misbehave when they have the benefit of hiding their identities. So what you are talking about applies more in social media, not in our lives. In fact, conflict as a concept is a concept not alien to any organization. Change breeds conflict. So if I want to do something new, then there would be a group of people who have been doing something else for 10 years, 15 years, they would naturally resist. So that resistance can be called as conflict. There are 2 ways to look at it. One is that how is the organization set up? Is the organization structurally allowing communication to flow very well? So if that flow of communication is established, then the conflict will not go to that extent where it becomes like an animosity. It becomes a conflict of opinion, not as conflict of purpose. So organizations must structurally ensure that the conflict is not of conflict of purpose, but of conflict of opinion. When you have conflict of opinion, you ask me a personal question that how I have faced it. There are 2-3 ways to do. Since I'm a student of management, I had a few things we know. That the first thing that you need to do is, when there is a point of debate, keep your ego aside. These are mostly internal debates. These are not debates like what we are doing on live TV. So in an internal debate, irrespective of the hierarchy, you must treat everybody equal, because it's a culture of ideas. It's not a culture of hierarchy. So when you are treating everybody as equal, you should be able to listen to others without feeling offended, even if it is not your idea. So therefore, I think first you keep your ego aside. If it is accepted, fine. If it is not accepted, is also fine. Second most important is that when we argue, when we put our point forward, try to minimize giving opinions. Try to give as many facts as possible. Do you have facts backing your opinion? If you substantiate, everybody will listen. And third thing, which is the most critical thing in conflict management, is that while a debate is allowed in an organizational setup, you should know who owns up that decision. And somewhere you must have intrinsic respect for that chair who owns up that decision. I could be fourth in the layer. I could be giving some opinion which could be bombastic. But tomorrow, if the success and failure will go to another person, in the end, you have to accept what that person who is responsible for the decision takes. So if you have this much of civility in discussion, I don't think conflict management is an issue in organizations.
Thank you so much. I was enjoying this conversation so much, honestly, that I completely lost track of time, and I've been told that I have to wrap up. So thank you, all my panelists, for this very, very insightful and I think honest conversation. And I thank all of you for being a very patient and a really nice audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much for... Thank you so very much, and now I would request Ms. Monica to please come up on stage with Mr. Patnaik to felicitate our panelists on stage. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Ms. Usha Padi, Mr. Manoj Kumar Mishra, Dr. Omkar Rai, and along with them we have a very dynamic lady on the stage as the moderator, Ms. Tanaya Patnaik. So please put your hands together for all the panelists that we had for the session 1. It was utmost privilege that we could listen from you. It was an insightful session, and with this, we will move on to the next session, session number 2, and that is on emerging businesses led by enterprising leaders, often see spate of success and failures. So now I would request to moderate this session, Ms. Swastika Panda, news producer, Kanak News, to please come up on stage for moderating the next session. And we have as the panelist, Dr. Bhavna Gupta, founder, director, Davik Food and Beverages Private Limited. Please put your hands together. And can we have Mr. Nilabdi Tanaya Samantrai, Chief Digital Officer, CSM Technologies. We have Mr. Purna Rao, Senior VP and Head Sales, MedTel Healthcare. We have Mr. Rajiv Suri, Managing Partner, Orius Venture Partners. I would request all of the panelists to please come up on stage along with the moderator of this session, Ms. Swastika Panda, news producer, Kanak News. And ladies and gentlemen, let's have it for all the panelists, all the distinguished panelists on the stage. Ma'am.
Hello. Well, a very good evening to all of you present over here and our esteemed guest on stage. Welcome you to the CEO Conclave by SAMBAD Group. When we talk about entrepreneurship, we talk about a lot more responsibility with it. So, for being an entrepreneur, success and failure is like vice versa. So, Bhavna, I would like to start from you. To being an entrepreneur, what does success and failure mean to you?
Thank you so much. I'm Bhavna Gupta, and by profession I have been a scientist throughout for last about 17-18 years, and then out of passion I started my enterprise, which is a startup for the last about 4 years. When I started with my startup, I had an objective, I had a question, and I thought that the solution is more important. So we started off doing some research, then we came up with a product, and then we started releasing the product in the market. Eventually I realized that it is not only the solution, but we also need to build up the business, the market for it as well. So I think today we measure success with the turnaround, or with the achievements that we have, but during the course of time we forget that we should not look or look up to short-term gains. Rather, we should have projections towards long-term business achievements and long-term business goals. And I think for me success is so that I can have a brand persona, I can maintain it for a longer time, I can retain my clients, even though there are certain turnarounds which can go higher or lower every year. That doesn't count, but of course I am happy leading them towards a better perspective, and I'm also happy that I have retained my brand persona for a long period.
Okay, Shri Samantra, I would like to know that what is more difficult for you, to handle the success or to meet the failure?
Hi everyone, good evening. I think most of the people around the world, they get very inspired by the success stories. People always like to listen, even in the YouTube and all, about what Steve Jobs did or what Jack Ma said, and people try to copy them in their path of their entrepreneurial journey. However, every person is unique and the situations are unique. So when you try to emulate someone who is successful, it may not work for you, because one size will not fit all. However, if you read the failures of those people, whether it is Steve Jobs, Jack Ma, all of them, they have failed. Thomas Edison knows 1,000 ways how not to make a bulb. So if you read through those failures, then there is a lot more learning for you than to follow the success. That is what I would like to add.
Many times we see that when we walk towards to get success or to meet the failure and again to start, the mental condition of the entire team should be in a good. So, Shri Suri, I would like to know about your opinion on this.
Thank you for addressing me as Sri Suri. I like that.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to be here, folks. I've flown down from Bombay to be here. Thank you so much. I'm honored, really happy to be a part of this conversation. So, look, we are talking about building businesses. These are typically youngsters, and I focus on the startup ecosystem. So that's the part that I'm going to talk about. Youngsters, 25, 26 years old, high IQ, from engineering colleges. These are the kind of folks that we're talking about. Experience of building these businesses is not very high. So what we generally look for is basically a viewpoint on how they fit the jigsaw puzzle. So if you've got a business, you'll have multiple components to that business. Typically, there'll be a technology component. We need that for that to be relevant. There will be a marketing and a go-to-market component. There will be a regulatory component perhaps. There will be other components that sort of fit into your game. So we are looking for a team that can sort of complement each other, that can try and create some kind of an equivalence amongst each other, and that can be around when things get depressing. Generally, it's very difficult to build a business. We all know this if you've been in a business, and creating something is going to take a lot of effort. So it makes a lot of sense for you to have people that can sustain you with each other when you're building it. Those are the sort of things that we look for. So it's like a jigsaw puzzle. You need to bring all the pieces together for the puzzle to look complete, and that's really what I think we're looking for.
Okay, Sri Rao, I would like to just mention a good example over here, what we see on this stage. You passed on the mic to Bhavna, then we again shared the mics. So when the stress is there while working on a project, while you are under pressure, your team is under pressure, so how do you manage that position or that period of time? Because you and your team have to work towards success, to meet failure, and to learn from failure, and to get back to the work.
Well, Jai Jagannath, thank you very much for giving opportunity to be here. So before saying something, I'll talk about the CEO position that we have talking about today in this conclave. The two types of CEOs that coming from. One is with the academic, with experience, and it takes time to come to a CEO position, maybe at the age of 45, 40 or 50s like this, starting from manager, chief manager, vice president, AVP, VP, then going up to a ladder to be a CEO of a company. And thanks to the startups and all, we have got a fantastic way of getting to CEO position directly, right? So that comes with minus experience. I don't say that, because that comes with failures and success and taking it forward. So when we are talking about getting a success of a project and how you deal with your teams and all, how to keep the moral high of your teams, that all belongs to that. If the goal is one, as said very correctly, when the goal of a startup is going to change the goal of the lifetime, that is what the inspiration comes from. If I say, if I'm going to achieve this particular project, my standard of living, my goal is achieved, and I can move forward with my designations, with my work, where involvement of all this, stakeholders of the entire thing, from the janitor to the top of the CEO, if that makes one, then successful will not stop you anywhere. That's what I can say. Thank you.
Okay. Sri Samantrai, I would like to grab your attention on this. When I was just looking at your page yesterday, the first thing that grabbed my attention was Medha, your AI assistant. We have discussed many things on artificial intelligence. There was like headlines, AI is a threat to employment, this crore of numbers, people will lose their jobs. So in your company, does this feeling exist in your employees that yes, it may create a trouble for us in our future, so maybe they will be under pressure to work?
I think that's a very good question. I will just take back everyone to a couple of years back, maybe many years back. In the late 90s and early 2000, when computers was a name at every home, people used to think that computers will take away jobs and there will be a lot of job losses. However, it resulted in creating millions of jobs rather than job losses. No new technology can be undone. You can never go back on technology. It will only emerge. So while the International Labour Organization predicts there could be 114 million job losses, however, there will also be job creation of 127 million due to AI and related technologies. There will be certain jobs which will go away, like there is mundane repetitive jobs, but at the same time some other value-added jobs will be created. So answering your specific queries, the HR jobs will not go away due to Medha, because Medha will just put together many documents. So we have thousands of documents, from which the Meda reads it and then she summarizes and gives you the answer. It can be any query. So she will kind of enable the HR to help her do her job better. So AI will be in every walk of life, no matter which industry it is, whether it is healthcare, it is mining, or it is food security. It's media, of course. If you look at India today, you have Aaj Tak, you have AI, but they will never take away human jobs. They will help humans to improvise their jobs and focus and re-strategize on things which is more important.
Shri Rao, in present scenario, we actually call it as a modern era, we are in 21st century, but I would like to call it as a fingertip era. Everything we want in a click. Within a click, we want our groceries, medicines, each and everything. There should be things over like that. So how do you see things before Corona, after Corona, the fingertip or the click things? You must have experienced a lot during this time. So do you think that after Corona, you have achieved that target of tele things?
Well, am I audible? Yeah. Thank you for putting the question to a health tech startup. Metal Healthcare is a health tech startup. And I think the Corona actually gave us an opportunity to taste this health tech startups in a bigger way. It's an opportunity for us, I can say that way. Because today people accept this teleconsultations, telemedicines as such has become a very evident in the culture as of now. Being a startup of telehealth startup, I can say earlier nobody has thought of health screening. Okay, there was no occupational screening. That was not there. After Corona, even the government, the corporates, we have been there working with the governments, working with the corporates across India and out of the country, where this health screening has taken a vital role in getting it to the door-to-door. Also, we have done it. I think recently we have been a part of this. Barampur Municipal Corporation is doing door-to-door campaigning for health screening on non-communicable diseases. And there's some district headquarters also taken, this cardiac health screening. And thus we have been doing very fantastically well in one district where prenatal health checkups. That really seizes this opportunity after being the Corona. Acceptance was taken more.
Previously,
and people
it's like
understood.
we were physically visiting the medical or the hospital, or we used to consult a doctor physically. We don't rely on telecommunications or by a phone call. But that thing has been changed. Would you like to accept it after Corona, actually?
I'll just add up something. It's the experience I'm talking about. If you're going to a doctor, what happens? Doctor listens to you. He only listens to you. He doesn't ask you to do anything. He listens what condition, what problems you have got. Then he diagnoses with your conditions and all, and he asks for a test to be done. Then after that test, he reads the report, then prescribes medicines to you. Now what exactly we are doing that? We are simply asking the doctor to listen or come on a video platform, just listen to the patient. That is what the changes. That is what actually given. This was supposed to be done a long back, but we didn't accept it. Because we feel that until unless I go to a doctor I should see the doctor and he should touch me, then I can feel better with his words and all. But now things have changed. The communication between the doctor and patients has really made very simple and very accurate. You can say with that kind of a testing platform we have got, we can easily get it done. And I can say that rather with this platform, I can say from myself that I'm reducing the tact of pain, turn around time of a pain. That is what I can say. Thank you very much.
Okay. Bhavna, in the industry in which you are working with, there is always like competition. There is always like upgradation to meet the expectation of your customers, quality, everything. So how do you actually cope up with that, and how you motivate your employees to build that image of your company among the customers as well?
Yes, Swastika, I agree. Competition is everywhere. We are more accustomed to Colgate, but we also have Pepsodent. The number of Indian population and actually the world population is too much that you can actually have consumers for your product always. So we are not afraid of competition. Actually, we need to upgrade and update ourselves so that we can have a little bit we can be a little bit better with our competitors, or we can project something which we have very unique than our competitors have. So competition is always healthy because it actually helps you to be on toes, to give you critics for improvisation, and also to help you to move forward and know better. So I don't think competitions should be taken otherwise. It is always better to be surrounded with your competitor to update yourself. So that's wonderful. And I think I also have, or actually we also have a lot of competitors, but we actually realize that we can have certain areas which we can explore. Maybe the competitors did not look into it. So we are moving towards those areas, and we are trying to capture those areas, and therefore I think we can, we can be better off with our competitors that way.
Okay. Suri, again you'll say you like this way, okay. So you're working as a managing partner, but do you find it difficult to manage yourself when you meet a failure, or to manage your team when you face such situation?
So one of the good things about being in venture capital is बहुत ज़्यादा ज्ञान देना पड़ता है, बहुत ज़्यादा काम नहीं करना पड़ता है, right? So, the good part is we invest in startups, and that's what we do for a living, right? So obviously there's a lot of work involved in the governance and the financial aspects of it, but it's not too much ops-led work. So that's one thing. I just want to go back to one point that I heard you make when it came to that the AI conversation and what it means for a state like Odisha, right? I've been to Odisha multiple times. Bhubaneswar is amongst my favorite cities. The Lingaraj temple has got a very special privilege in my heart because I keep going to all the temples. The cultural nuances in the city, everything from Chenapoda to this stuff is like just amazing. I just enjoy coming here. Think about, let me just give you an example of what this disruptive mindset is doing to the world from a technology perspective. That I think is an area that you need to focus on. So you asked a question about AI. The question is, what has changed in AI? पिछले 10 साल से तो एआई के बारे में सुनते आ रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं कि कोई नई कहानी आ गई है. So what has changed? अभी इतनी बवाल क्यों मची हुई है? Because of AI. The answer to that is, for the first time in the history of humanity, the computer can understand humans without having the translator in between. Right? देखिए, when I come into Odisha, I either have to talk in a language that all of us can understand, या तो अंग्रेजी है या तो हिंदी है, right? या तो I have to learn Odia. Right? Otherwise I can't do this conversation, right? So fortunately for us, because we are integrators, we have the ability to communicate in a couple of languages, so that works for us, right? But with a computer, you always had the software engineer that needed to talk to you, right? नहीं तो बात नहीं कर सकते थे कंप्यूटर के साथ, क्योंकि कोडिंग की लैंग्वेज समझना जरूरी था. All of a sudden, you're now being offered an option to work with a computer without having that software engineer talking and translating what you want to do. That's game change. That's bigger than anything that has happened in the history of mankind so far, right? And these kinds of moments also define what a state will do. If you, for instance, take this AI revolution and build, 1,000 startups. I think there are 1,600 startups, right? Rashmi, something like 1,600 startups coming out of Odisha. So 1,600 startups, if you're able to take 300 startups that are able to create something in just AI as a space, trust me, you will have 20 unicorns in that in the next 4 years. ये guarantee देता हूँ मैं, right? Because that game change of using the computer to power up your efficiency, to power up your productivity, to power up everything that you're doing, everything that we spoke about in this conversation can be leveled up to 7 times higher because of AI. It changes the paradigm. It's up to you to absorb that, take that, and move on and keep that in play. That, I think, is a game that we have to come to a conclusion on, and that, I think, is a big message that I would like to sort of articulate. Thank you.
Okay. Sri Sawantrai, when we talk about technology, and we have Sri Rao, who is related to medical field. So healthcare and technology, we are seeing a emerging development in both of the sectors, and in everything, healthcare and technology have their own back with each other. So do you think in near future, maybe that time will come when the healthcare sector will be completely driven by technology?
To answer that, I will just give an example of how we in Odisha had used AI, including analytics for healthcare. Way back in 2020, during the COVID days, Odisha was one of the first 3 states who had really had a COVID dashboard in place. Apart from the COVID dashboard in the back end, and it was the leadership of our Principal Secretary, ENIT, I think he's already left, but under his leadership and my organization, we worked along with IIT Bombay, Deloitte and Diagnostic Robotics, which is an Israeli firm, wherein what we did is we came up with the R0 factor, how COVID will spread across different districts in Odisha, the different migrant laborers who will be coming, how we have to make readiness for the infrastructure, the bed, the cylinders, the oxygen, and medicines, doctors, nurses. So that preparation, that you can say the predictive analytics and AI/ML algorithms we had written using like SAS has an advanced analytics within tool that, and our AI/ML Python algorithms, we were able to do this preparedness, and Odisha turned out to be one of the best states to ensure that the fatality is minimized and preparedness is maximized. So this is what we used our technology for healthcare in Odisha. Having said that, AI is becoming advanced by the day. Today you can, using AI camera and technology, you can look at somebody's eyes and you can tell if the person has diabetes or if there is any retinopathy, some issues with the eyes, and couple of other diagnostic can be done with high level of accuracy at par with what a blood test can probably do, it can do, and it can uncover. So technology, yes, with times it will further improvise, but that will never replace a physician, a doctor, a surgeon or a human being, because there is an equal chance of error, because as the AI gets smarter, they will be also doing some smart mistakes. So the human intervention is always required. It will be required in future as well.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Swastika. And to add to your point, there is something called as predictive medicine or precision medicine, wherein we have certain instruments with just a drop of blood from a patient, we can, or from a normal healthy individual, anyone from here, we can predict if that person might in near future have, let's say, some life-threatening disease, for example, cancer or some autoimmune disorders. So in case we can predict such an event in advance, we can always have preventive measures so that we can ask the person to go for a screen every year, so that as soon as we detect cancer in the first stage, we will be able to clear it off. Because it becomes very difficult later on at the third stage to cure the disease. So that kind of technology in healthcare has been tremendous, and with this I think there would be a revolution in the healthcare sector, I'm sure.
Well said, Bhavna. I think that also reminds me, there is a website called World Community Grid. So what it does is, in order to come up with a, you can say, a vaccination or a cure for cancer or HIV or any such deadly diseases, there is a lot of permutation and combination and millions of combination you have to do with the proteins and other aspects. And this worldcommunitygrid.com, what this website does is, it gives you a chance, opportunity for all of us to be able to help them by giving the computing power. That is your mobile or your computer laptop. While it is not in use, you can extend your computing power to them, so that there is a central supercomputer which is trying to help humanity by coming up with the cures for such diseases. So just information, because I also extend my laptop for the same.
Thank you. Sri Suri, I would to ask you, you might have heard about that phrase from the childhood, we are just learning that try and fail but don't fail to try. But do you really think for an entrepreneur, does it work? Because once you fail, you again have to start from the root. You again have to start from the zero. Does it really work for an entrepreneur?
Again, I'm going to preface this conversation with the fact that I'm going to talk about a very specific set of entrepreneurs who are technology startups, right? So typically these would be kids that would sit in your NIT Rourkela or IIT Bhubaneswar or any of the top colleges in Odisha that I would be looking to do, right? Look, we as a nation are blessed with a lot of things, right? One of the most interesting things we are blessed with is brains, right? You know, Indian brain is perhaps the most cheap product in India, but very expensive outside, right? Look at the number of CEOs from the world. 40% of all unicorns in the planet, I'm not just talking Indian unicorns, all unicorns made in the planet come from 3 or 4 colleges in India, right? Just to sort of let you know, that's the kind of quality of brains that we have. It is a criminal waste that we are not using these brains to fulfill world problems, and that I think is a big deal that we have, right? Now you have the power of technology behind you here. That I think is a big deal that you have going for you. One part is the AI part that I think we've discussed. I think I love the points that were made, but there are also other things that are happening. The Sarkar is very active in terms of technology here, right? How many countries have done UPI? How many countries have done Aadhaar? How many countries are now doing ONDC? How many countries have now been able to do CoWIN, which basically got your vaccination onto an app with a QR code within 15 minutes with the nurse's name, with the hospital's name and the time and the COVID vaccine that was administered to you. Americans, during the COVID vaccination, during the COVID after that, they were writing checks, which they didn't know where to send to because half the people that they were sending checks to had gone home. ये हालत है उनकी और हमारी देखो, you know, we've gone so digital. I've just come back from Europe. I'm telling you, there are lots of things that are going on in India which is making me very proud to be sitting in this country at this moment, right? वो याद रखना जरूरी है, बहुत बड़ी बात है. Now, if you power this thing that's happening in digital public goods using the, you know, Aadhaar, UPI, other things, along with the best brains of Odisha, and of course India as an extension, right? Then you've got a completely new explosive combination. हम आज तक अपने आप को यू नो वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड या चाइनीज वर्ल्ड या जापानीज वर्ल्ड के पीछे देखते आए, क्यों? अभी तो टाइम है हमारा आगे बढ़ने का, right? And I think that's something that we'll have to take quite strongly. And if you're able to do this, and again, that's the, you know, if I were to sort of turn around and say, I am able to pick 30, 40 startups in Odisha, the state, and they're able to create this new wave changing technology, to my mind, that changes the game, not just for India, but for the world. And that's the reason why the startup and the entrepreneur has to continue to do this. It's not about, yaar, try karo, fir fail karo. Nahi, yaar, tum super brain ho. You've been brought into this world for you to do something amazing. Do something amazing with it because that's your cause. That's your purpose in life. I want a few of these youngsters to think about it as their purpose in life and move on and change the world. That's what the game is.
Yeah, thank you. Shri Rao, when we talk about your sector, you are in this for past many years. So as Shri Patnaik was saying, I was listening to him, he said, a very good environment is something we all need to work in a very good manner. Each and every employee has contribution to the success of a company. How do you see your employees, your colleagues, how they have a part in your success?
Well, yeah, this is a very pertinent question nowadays, like particularly with talking on startups and all, how the role of a CEO makes this more different in these particular platforms where they are not certified CEOs, but they are made CEOs of their own companies, own ideas to be prevalent, and making it success makes a kind of styles that makes them great in it. That is what the CEO, just not just designation, that comes with lot of attributes to it, like mentor, coaching, seeing farsightedness, taking actions, plunging into anything, and that is what makes him tasted with the water with the due course of experience in startups. When the startups comes, like it's like you can see, I can compare it with the sea, where you have shores, waves in the shores of the sea, many waves that will push you back and front, and that is what you taste the challenges to get inside. Once you get inside, you are a completely experienced man to be taking a more risk affairs. When you are in shore, you don't have that much risk. If you fail also, you fail for something. Not much of a risk will be there. But when you go into deep waters, you will be one man, you will be having less competitors there, but the risk factor will be high. There you will be having other challenges out there. So one small mistake can bring you down. When you are talking about CEO, how to see that his employees are teams, that makes the difference. It's not the CEO that makes the difference, as somebody said out here. It is the employees, the team, handpick them, have a great team for you, who works for you, who sees the dream of yours as theirs, and that is what makes a difference, and that is how the CEO engages them with them. That is what we are lucky enough with us, that we are also having the same kind of atmosphere.
Okay, how do you think
take
that in any adverse situation, is it difficult to manage yourself, or is it difficult to manage and motivate your employees?
See, I put it this way, like as a CEO of a company, normally in startups, he is the person who has dreamt of that particular company, a particular product, or device, or platform, and he knows in and out there. That is why the delegation has having some problems in the later stage, because he says that I know everything, and I need the things to be done as per my requirement. That is what the CEO's initial challenges right now. So when he knows everything, when he sees that, he treated that his product as a small baby. And he always ensures that when he delegates things, that small baby, to a person saying that this is my baby, please take care of it, and the other person who is taking care of it feels that, okay, I am great. I have been accepted as a person who can take care of this particular thing. So that is how the changes takes place, and that is what delegation has to keep it forward, and the trust factor of the team members will make the difference at all.
Okay, thank you so much. As we are running out of time, I would like to conclude with your short opinions and message to all the young entrepreneurs. As you're working in your concerned fields for so many years, I would like to take your short and crispy opinions and your suggestions for the upcoming entrepreneurs, please.
Well, there are many challenges, I will tell you. One opinion I can say, with the darkest opinion, is that for any startups, you are looking forward for co-founders, investors as such. When in our tradition of India, when you are looking for a groom for our bride, the kind of hard work we do to do all the kind of testing that we should get the best groom for my daughter, the same way for startups, you should look forward for the best of the best to be your co-founder. That's the first and foremost thing. If you don't get that, that's going to ruin. In marriages, you have a divorce, but in business, that divorce will cost you a lot. That's one opinion. Second opinion is that for any startups, like we call it a run rate, all these things that comes up with this jargons that comes up, but yes, we don't get investors into the startup early. Do as much as you can and take up, because in startups you require CEOs, definitely. You cannot afford to keep a CEO. That's why you're making yourself as a CEO then. That is what you have to take it as a baby. And when you get the investors, a lot of pressure comes in. So a lot of, the funding there comes with a lot of pressure, and valuation takes place, and you just lose your interest in that. Lose your ground on that. So product, customers, and the services is the first priority for to become.
Okay, now I would like to go to Mr. Suri, because when you talk about investment and funding, I would like to take his opinion on this and the suggestions for the entrepreneurs.
Acha, Mr. Odia, good. So, 2 points. Look, we live in a world of immense amount of knowledge. We live in a world of technology and a lot of things that are changing, right? So essentially, if I were to go back to Indian mythology, right, there are two goddesses that we revere, right? There is Saraswati and there is Lakshmi, right? We want both of these goddesses in some form or fashion. For a very long time in India, Lakshmi was separate from Saraswati. For the first time going forward in the future, it's Saraswati that's going to propel Lakshmi going forward, right? So go after Saraswati. She will make sure that you get to Lakshmi. That, I think, is my one-point agenda, as a message that I'm going to give you.
Okay. Bhavna, your opinion and your suggestion, because from being Dr. Bhavna Gupta to entrepreneur, businesswoman Dr. Bhavna Gupta, your long journey has been there.
Thank you, Sashmita. Swastika, sorry. हिंदी में कहावत है आभास में ही विकास. So we have identified the problem. Definitely there would be a development. So have patience, have a financial appetite, and let your innovations run through a natural life cycle. I'm sure that there would be a great business perspective later on.
Okay, Shri Samant, please.
So I would, first of all, I would like to thank SAMBAD because such a conclave is a place where all the different people, entrepreneurs, intellectuals, we come together, and there is a lot of value which adds. So thank you very much, Patnaik sir, thank you Nair ma'am, thank you Omkarai sir, thank you everyone. Now I would just say that our honorable finance minister, she in her budget there are 16,500 crores for electronics and IT. Her focus was make AI in India, make AI work for India. So my last word would be, AI is not a new technology. It has been there since 1956. However, any technology which becomes relevant to the times, it becomes emerging technology. So today it is emerging because it is relevant to today's time, and it's not future, it is current. So my last words is that let there be more AI startups, as I think Mr. Suri already said. There are 50 startups registered in AI in Odisha as of 2023. So I think the number should double every year, and that will bring about the change.
Thank you so much, all of you, for giving your time. Well, I would like to conclude with a speech of a motivational speaker that I have seen, that the biggest risk in your lifetime is not taking a risk in your life. So you guys must have taken risks, so we are all here. And I would like to request all our guests to put a hand for all of our guests who were on stage and discussing on such things. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, and thank you so very much, Swastika, for moderating this session so beautifully. Dar ke aage jeet hai, the message that you want to spread. Thank you so very much. And now I would request Mr. Kamalakant Mahapatra, the COO of SAMBAD, to please come up on stage. Please put your hands together for Mr. Mahapatra on stage to felicitate our esteemed guest on the stage, please. Ladies and gentlemen, a clap won't hurt, so please put your hands together. Thank you so very much, all the panelists, for taking some time out and discussing with us. Thank you so very much. And I would request Mr. Mahapatra to felicitate Swastika as well. Sir, I would request you to please. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, ladies. Thank you very, very much. And next, SAMBAD held. All right. SAMBAD International Advertising Association Creative Campaign Contest. It was held by SAMBAD and in association with IAA. The IAA is the world's most influential network of marketing and marketing communications professionals. Established in 1938, International Advertising Association is the only global association that represents all spheres of the marketing and marketing communication industry. So, entries for the SAMBAD International Advertising Association Creative Campaign contest are accepted in both Odia and English language, and we are very happy, and it was very difficult for us because There were 17 advertising agencies, each having 3 creatives who have participated in this contest. So can we have a huge round of applause for SAMBAD and IAA for doing this contest? And the winners are chosen by the independent eminent jury members on the basis of their design, neatness and concept of the entries. Name of the advertising agency who participated in this prestigious contest are Adventure Advertising. Please put your hands together for fast communication. Advertising Corporation of India Private Limited, Herald Advertising Services, Anita Advertisers, Mark Communications, Annapurna Advertising, NB Communication, Canon Fire Creatives Private Limited, Next Chain, Color Plus, Prelude Novel Ventures Private Limited, Continental Advertising Services, PNA Advertising Agency Private Limited, Display Line Bhuvaneshwar, Sanket Communication Private Limited, and Star Advertising Private Limited. These are our contestants. And now, before we announce the winners, we have Mr. Ramesh Narayan, the founder of Kanko Advertising Private Limited, ex-com member of Asian Federation of Advertising Association. He is conferred with the Lifetime Achievement Award from Association of Business Communicators of India. He is also inducted into the IAA India Chapter Hall of Fame to deliver 2 minutes of speech. So can we have a huge round of applause for Mr. Ramesh Narayan on the stage, please.
Hello friends, good evening. I would like to thank Monica first of all for having involved the IAA here. I'm glad that the IAA has an exposure in your state here. I'm even more glad that we've had an excellent participation from all the agencies here. Entering, I think, in an advertising contest is the most important thing. Of course, winning is more fun. I'd just like to add a small or another perspective. We always talk about advertising as a thing which helps to sell things, products, services, etc. I'd like to believe all of us here, all of us advertising people here, are the only industry in the entire world that can actually create messaging that can help raise money at a time of a natural disaster, that can help rid the world of horrible diseases like, for example, polio, that can help change mindsets against things like domestic violence, animal abuse. And I think that is what actually makes it worth the while. So all of us have it in ourselves, in our own small way, to change the world. And I'd like to stress the fact that we have to use communication as an important force for good. I would like to actually congratulate all the winners and let us go on with the evening. Thank you very much.
I would request you to be on the stage, please. And along with you, we have Mr. I. Venkat, Director, INARU. He was one of the founding members of MRUC, as well as one of the Indian Broadcasting Foundation. Venkat, he continues to be on the board of IBF, the International News Media Association, and the Broadcast Audience Research Council. He is also the CEO and trustee of Nimagada Foundation, Hyderabad. He is actively associated with healthcare, education, and philanthropy. Welcome you, sir, to this wonderful evening. And please put your hands together for Mr. I. Venkat with us. Now to join on the stage, I would request Mr. Avinash Pandey once again, the CEO, ABP Network, to please join us on stage. Please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Pandey. Along with him, we have Mr. Soumyaranjan Patnaik, sir. Please put your hands together once again for Mr. Patnaik on stage. Along with him, we have Ms. Monica Nair Patnaik. Please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. And now it is time to announce the winners. So we'll go from third, second, and first. And the third prize goes to Adventure Advertising. So please put your hands together for Adventure Advertising for winning the third position. Fast Communication, I'm so sorry, Fast Communication. Please put your hands together for Fast Communication. Please put your hands together for Fast Communication. Many congratulations to you. Many more to come. And the second prize goes to Continental Advertising Services. Please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations. And the first prize goes to, please put your hands together for Canon Fire Creatives Private Limited. Please put your hands together for Canon Fire Creatives Private Limited for winning the first prize. Thank you. Many congratulations. And I would request Ms. Nair and Mr. Patnaik to please felicitate Mr. Ramesh and Mr. I. Venkatesh who are on stage. Now I would request all the awardees to please come up on stage for a group photograph. So I would request all the awardees on the stage, please. Please put your hands together for all the awardees on the stage. Congratulations to all the awardees. And next, I would request all our proud partners to please come up on stage for a photograph to capture this moment. All right. And quickly, let's move on. And of course, we are at the end of this amazing evening, but we could not end up this evening without thanking our sponsors, our supporters, our partners, our associates. So let me take once again, and I would request everyone to join your hands as I take the names. Startup Odisha, the partner of in partnership with, we have done this event in association with JSPL, KIT, MGM Minerals Limited, and we have been supported by CV Raman College of Engineering, INIT, Premier Institute of NIT, Aptiplus, Capdeal, Shiksha Anusandhan University, Sai International School, ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India, Paradeep Phosphates Limited, NALCO, SN Mohanty Group of Companies, Harshapriya Constructions Private Limited, MCL Paradeep Port Authority, our outdoor partner, team and Ajanta. Please put your hands together for all the support that we have got from these amazing supporters. And to conclude, it was a very insightful evening and a wonderful evening with all of you fine ladies and gentlemen. Please do not go because we have dinner with some beautiful ghazal artists. So please enjoy the melodious evening further. Now I'm Soma Mahapatra signing off. Thank you for being such a beautiful audience to me. Thank you so very much. So ladies and gentlemen, we have Ghazal Night, the melodious artist will come up on stage with their marvelous music followed by dinner. So please enjoy the night ahead.
କାଜୁ ଟଙ୍କା ଅଛି ସବୁ କାମ ହେଇଛି 10ଟା ହଁ 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 କିଛି ପ୍ରାଇଭେଟ୍ କିଛି ଚିନ୍ତା କରता ଗଲାବେଳେ ସେ ଯେମିତି କରିବ କାଜୁ ଟା ସବୁ ଦୋକାନ ସବୁ ୟା ପାଖରେ ଅଣ୍ଡା ସବୁ ଦୋକାନ ଚପ୍ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ସେଇଠି ଦୋକାନ ହଁ 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 ଗାଡ଼ି ନାହିଁ ଆମର ତାଙ୍କର ନେଇନାହାନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କର ନେଇ ଆସନ୍ତୁ ତାଙ୍କ ତ ଆହୁରି ନାହିଁ
आप सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। ईशा की पहली गजल में ईशान की पहली गजल में हेलो हेलो सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। ईशान की पहली गजल में जगजीत सिंह जी की हजारों ख्वाहिशें स्टार्ट करता हूँ। हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिशें पे दम निकले, बहुत निकले मेरे अरमान, बहुत निकले मेरे अरमान, बहुत निकले मेरे अरमान, लेकिन फिर भी कम निकले, निकला खुद से आदम का, सुनते आए हैं लेकिन बहुत बेआबरू हो गए तेरे कोचे से हम निकले। मोहब्बत में नहीं है फर्क जीने और मरने का, मोहब्बत में नहीं है फर्क जीने और मरने का, उसी को देख कर जीते हैं जिसका फिर पे दम निकले, हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले। खुदा के वास्ते पर्दा न काबे उठा उठा लाए, खुदा के वास्ते पर्दा न काबे से उठा लाए, कहीं ऐसा न हो या भी जिसका फिर हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिशें में दम निकले। नेक्स्ट गल जगजीत सिंह साहब चली जाएंगे, होंठ से छू लो तो। Sa Pani sa re ga pa re sa ni da ni re sa. जब प्यार करे कोई तो देखे केवल मन, नई रीत चला कर तुम ये रीत अमर कर दो, होठों से छू लो तुम मेरा गीत अमर कर दो। आकाश का सोनापन मेरे तन्हा मन में, आकाश का सोनापन मेरे तन्हा मन में, पायल छनकाती आ जाओ जीवन में, सांसें देकर अपनी संगीत अमर कर दो, संगीत अमर कर दो, मेरा गीत अमर कर दो। जग ने छीना मुझसे मुझे जो भी लगा प्यारा, जग ने छीना मुझसे मुझे जो भी लगा प्यारा, सब जीता के मुझसे मैं हरदम ही हारा तुम हार के दिल अपना मेरी जीत अमर कर दो होठों से छू लो तुम मेरा गीत अमर कर दो मेरा गीत अमर कर दो संगीत अमर कर दो होठों से छू लो तुम मेरा गीत अमर कर दो झुकी झुकी सी नजर बेकरार है कि नहीं दबा दबा सा सही दिल में प्यार है कि नहीं झुकी झुकी सी नजर झुकी झुकी सी नजर बेकरार है कि नहीं दबा दबा सा सही दिल में प्यार है कि नहीं झुकी झुकी सी नजर
प्यार है कि नहीं, झुकी झुकी सी नजर। वो पल के जिसमें मोहब्बत जवान होती है, वो पल के जिसमें मोहब्बत जवान होती है, उसे कपल का तुझे इंतजार है कि नहीं, उसे कपल का तुझे इंतजार है कि नहीं, झुकी झुकी सी नजर, दिल में प्यार है कि नहीं, दबा दबा सा सही, दिल में प्यार है कि नहीं, झुकी झुकी सी नजर। कोई फरियाद तेरे कभी हो जैसे, कोई फरियाद तेरे दिल में कभी हो जैसे, तूने आँखों से कोई बात कही हो जैसे, जागते जागते एक उम्र कटी हो जैसे, जागते जागते एक उम्र कटी हो जैसे, जाने बाकी है मगर सांस रुकी हो जैसे, कोई फरियाद तेरे दिल में दबी हो जैसे। मुलाकात पे महसूस यही होता है, हर मुलाकात पे महसूस यही होता है। मुझसे कुछ तेरी नजर पूछ रही हो, तेरी नजर पूछ रही हो, कोई परिया तेरे दिल में दबी हो, तूने से कोई कही हो जैसे कोई फरियाद तेरे दिल में दबी हो एक लम्हे में सिमट आए सदियों का सफर, एक लम्हे में सिमट आए सदियों का सफर। जिंदगी तेज बहुत तेज चली हो, दबी हो जैसे तूने आँखों से कोई बात कही हो, जैसे कोई फरियाद तेरे दिल में दबी हो प्यार का पहला खत लिखने में वक्त तो लगता प्यार का पहला खत लिखने में वक्त तो लगता है प्यार का पहला खत लिखने में वक्त तो लगता है नए दो कोड़ने में वक्त तो लगता है प्यार का पहला खत लिखने में वक्त तो लगता जिसकी बात नहीं थी उनके दिल तक जाना जिसकी बात नहीं थी उनके दिल तक जाना जिसकी बात नहीं थी उनके दिल तक जाना लंबी दूरी तय करने में वक्त तो लगता है लंबी दूरी तय करने में वक्त तो लगता है लंबी दूरी तय करने में वक्त तो लगता है प्यार का पहला खत लिखने में वक्त तो लगता है तो लगता है नए दो कोड़ने में वक्त तो लगता है प्यार का पहला खत लिखने में वक्त तो लगता है वक्त तो लगता है वक्त तो लगता है
नेक्स्ट गाने की फरमाइश आई है मोटू से चुलो चुलो जल्दी से ये गाना मैं ऑलरेडी पेश कर चुका हूँ बट फरमाइश आई तो मैं फिर से एक दो स्टांजा का
ना उम्र की सीमा ना जन्मों का हो बंधन ना उम्र की सीमा हो ना जन्मों का हो बंधन जब प्यार करे कोई तो देखे केवल मन नई रीत चला कर तुम ये रीत अमर कर दो होठों से छू लो तुम मेरा गीत अमर कर दो आकाश का सोनापन मेरे संगीत अमर कर दो संगीत अमर कर दो मेरा गीत अमर कर दो मुझे जो भी लगा प्यारा जग ने छीना मुझसे होठों से छू लो मेरा गीत अमर कर दो बन जाओ मीत मेरी प्रीत अमर कर दो मेरा गीत अमर कर दो मेरा गीत अमर कर दो निरगा रेगा पदरे सनि पारेगा सनि सगा पा जब दीप जले आना जब शाम ढले आना जब दीप जले आना जब शाम ढले आना संकेत मिलन का भूल न जाना मेरा प्यार ना बिसराना जब दीप जले आना जब शाम ढले आना जब दीप जले आना जब शाम ढले जब दीप जले आना जब शाम ढले आना जब दीप जले आना जब शाम ढले आना गर गर जहाँ पहली बार मिले थे हम। जब पहली बार मिले थे हम, जिस जगह से संग चले थे हम, जहाँ पहली बार मिले थे हम, जिस जगह से संग मिले थे हम, नदियों के किनारे आज उसी अम्मा के तले आना, जब दीप जले आना, जब शाम ढले आना, जब दीप जले आना, जब शाम ढले आना, निरेगा रेगा पार सारे पार दबा पार सा निरेगा रेगा पामा दबा मगर रे सने बाबा मारेगा सने सगा पापा मैं पलकन निहारूंगा तेरी राह निहारूंगा, पलकन डगर गुहारूंगा, तेरी राह निहारूंगा, तेरी प्रीत का काजल तुम अपने नैनों के तले आना, जब दीप जले आना, जब शाम ढले आना, जब दीप जले आना, जब शाम ढले आना, सबके मिलन का भूल न जाना, मेरा प्यार न बिसराना, जब दीप जले आना, जब शाम ढले आना, जब शाम ढले आना, जब शाम ढले आना। झूमती बहार है कहाँ हो तुम, प्यार से पुकार लो कहाँ हो तुम, प्यार से पुकार लो कहाँ। प्यार से पुकारो जहाँ हो तुम, प्यार से पुकारो कहाँ हो तुम, याद किया दिल ने कहाँ हो खो रहे हो आज किस ख्याल में, हो दिल फंसा है बेबसी के जाल में, हो खो रहे हो आज किस ख्याल में, हो दिल फंसा है बेबसी के जाल में, मतलबी जहाँ मेहरबां हो तुम, झूमती बहार है कहाँ हो तुम, प्यार से पुकारो कहाँ हो तुम, प्यार से पुकारो कहाँ हो तुम, याद किया दिल ने कहाँ हो तुम। हो तुम हमारी जिंदगी के बागबान, हो तुम हमारी राह के चराग, मेरे लिए आसमां हो तुम, याद किया दिल ने कहाँ हो तुम, प्यार से पुकारो 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 कहाँ हो तुम।
नेक्स्ट रंजिशी से ही मेहंदी से साथ रंजिशें सही रंजिशें सही रंजिशें सही दिल दुखाने लिए
छोड़ के जाने लिए रंजिशें सही छोड़ के जाने लिए रंजिशें सही दिल दुखाने लिए
आज मेरे साथ लिस्ट में है तबला में दुष्प्रसन्न